Live from Astros Field in downtown Houston, Fox Sports Net tonight brings you the opener of a three-game weekend series between last year's NL Central champion Houston Astros and the runner-up St. Louis Cardinals. Welcome back, Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies. It's a beautiful night. It's the first of 19 games between the Astros and the Cardinals. They fought down to the final game of the season last year. It could go that way again this season, J.D.
Perfect night for baseball here at the ballpark. If you can't be out there, stay here and watch these two teams go at it. They've been doing a great job the last 5 or 6 years in this Central Division rivalry.
They have been on top, these two, for 6 years in a row, and they have great lineups, but now the pitchers. Dave Malicki will go against this fine Cardinal lineup tonight.
And it will present a challenge to Dave Malicki, but last year, the second half of the year, he was outstanding for the Astros. Pitched a couple good ball games against the Redbirds. Woody Williams, maybe his best game of the year, came against Houston here at Astros Field last season. Painting the outside corner with a heater, good sharp curve, and he really competes, a tough competitor. He's also another bat in the middle, not in the middle, but at the end of that lineup.
Yep, he does it all, and we'll see what tonight's matchup brings, and we'll also see if it's a tie of a Major League record by the Astros' Lance Berkman, getting homer for 4 consecutive games to begin the season. He has a shot, and we'll be back in just a moment. Today's Houston Astros baseball game on Fox Sports Net is being brought to you by Budweiser, by your Texas Ford dealers, by Jack in the Box, by Pennzoil, by Southwestern Bell, by Gatorade, and by Southwest Airlines. What a gorgeous night here as the Cardinals and Astros do battle for the first of 3 this weekend. 2 outstanding teams. Tony La Russa out at home plate with his lineup card, and the Astros lineup card sent out by Jimmy Williams and carried out by third base coach Gene Lamont also has been exchanged there. Should be a very, very interesting weekend, even though it's not the end of the season. These games are really stacking up as vitally important for both these clubs. Starting lineup now for the St. Louis Cardinals is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Cardinals are 1 and 2. They begin with Fernando Vina, the second baseman. Placido Polanco is at third base with J.D. Drew in right field. Albert Pujols is the left fielder, rookie of the year last year, with Jim Edmonds in center field. Tino Martinez, the newcomer, at first base. Edgar Renteria is the shortstop. Mike Matheny does the catching for Woody Williams. And Dave Malicki was a nice addition to the Houston club last year in the trade with Detroit for Jose Lima, J.D.
Indeed, he was. He will not overpower with his fastball, pitch primarily in the high 80s. It's a sharp-breaking curveball. It's a knuckle curve, good changeup. Moves the ball in and out well when he's on, and he seems to really have clicked with Brad Ausmus, and he credits Brad with a lot of his success after coming over in the deal last season.
Brad behind the plate tonight as the Astros get ready to go to work with their gloves. And Ausmus, a Gold Glover, will join this group on the infield. Jeff Bagwell at first base. At second, it's Craig Biggio. Rookie shortstop, rookie third baseman. Morgan Ensberg at third. Adam Everett at shortstop. In left field, it's Darrell Ward. Lance Berkman is the center fielder for the Astros this season. And in right, it's strong arm Richard Hidalgo, who already has 1 outfield assist. The Gold Glove went to Brad Ausmus. And Dave Malicki had a very good spring with a 3-1 record, a 2.28 ERA. Now ready to take that 3-3 career record against the St. Louis Cardinals into his first regular season start of 2002. The umpires are behind the plate Jim Wolf. He's the brother of Randy Wolf, the left-handed pitcher with the Philadelphia Phillies. Tim McClelland at first base, Ted Barrett at second, and Brian Runge at third. There is no wind at the moment. Flags are just hanging from those poles out in center field as Fernando Vina settles in. That's unusual. And it's a cool, comfortable night here in downtown Houston. Fernando Vina last year hit .303, had 9 homers and 56 runs batted in for career highs. He's a great table setter, tremendous run scorer. He bunts extremely well. Ensberg is in on the grass at third base. Bagwell shortened up at first. And he puts one down. Ensberg, bare hands. His throw to Bagwell is in time. 1 pitch, 1 out for Malicki. An early test of the rookie third sacker.
You know, Milwaukee bunted 2, 3 at least 2 or 3 times and tried many more. They bunted foul. I'm wondering if it's a testing Ensberg or just a coincidence, but Ensberg has been equal to the task so far. Throw a little bit offline, but there's plenty of time where Jeff can make the adjustment.
That's one out as Ensberg takes care of Vigna's bunt. Placido Polanco follows. He's back at third base this year. He's hit in all 3 of the Cardinals games so far. He's showing bunt, and there's strike one for Dave Malicki. Dave gave up 16 hits in 23 2/3 innings this spring, while Polanco was hitting .361 in Cardinal camp with a homer and 5 runs batted in. Tony La Russa had planned for Polanco to be pretty much an everyday player, but Albert Pujols was going to be the third baseman. That changed. Polanco is back at third. Pujols in left field now. Right field and toward the corner. Hidalgo backing. Running catch, 2 outs. For the spring, with Malicki keeping the ball down and throwing well, those were the excellent numbers, J.D.
Yeah, hits in 5 ball games, 2.28 ERA, 3-1 was his record. I didn't see all of his spring training performances. I saw 2 or 3, and Browning's exactly right. He's keeping the ball down. The fastball had good life.
J.D. Drew also has hit in all 3 Cardinal games so far. 4 hits and 12 at bats so far for this talented outfielder. Checks his swing and fouls it for strike one. Drew was having the kind of breakout season last year many had predicted him to have, but then injuries sidetracked him. This spring he's back on course at .320 with 3 homers and 9 runs batted in. He wound up with a most productive 375 at bats last year. Cracked the bat on that one. 27 homers, 73 runs batted in, and a .360 average with men in scoring position. If you project that over 500 or 520 at bats, that would have been a monster year, J.D.
Yeah. He had a heck of a run going in the first half.
Up the middle and on through into center field for a 2-out single for J.D. Drew, and that gives him a 4-game hitting streak to open the season.
Well, take a look at this pitch here from Malicki. It's a 2-seam fastball, trying to get it out of the outside part of the plate. He did. Drew didn't try to pull it, just stayed on it. Sharp single up the middle. Good hitting.
Albert Pujols was a unanimous Rookie of the Year. .317 his spring numbers with 3 homers and 9 runs batted in after compiling a 37-homer, 130 RBI year in the regular season last year. He was the 6th Cardinal to win that Rookie of the Year award. Won't bite, and it's ball 1. Pujols was unbelievable the way he played so many different positions and continued to hit with those tremendous numbers, and Silver Slugger went his way after the season.
For a guy who started the previous year in A-ball, he sure made it look easy.
Was given a chance to begin the season with the injury to Bobby Bonilla last year. 1 ball and 1 strike, and he is 22 years old as he begins his 2nd major league year. Born in the Dominican Republic, but he went to junior college in the state of Missouri, and then just got in better and better shape in the instructional league in '99 after being a 13th round pick earlier that year, turning into an all-star last year. Ensberg to his left with the short throw to Biggio, takes care of his 2nd play of the inning, and it's no runs, a hit, and a runner stranded. Cardinals nothing. Astros coming up. For the Cardinals. Now the Astros come up in the bottom half. Here's their starting lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. It begins with Craig Biggio, with Brad Ausmus, the number 2 hitter, and the catcher. Jeff Bagwell's at first base with Lance Berkman in center field. Richard Hidalgo plays right. Darrell Ward is the left fielder. Morgan Ensberg is at third with Adam Everett at shortstop, and Dave Malicki is on the mound for Houston against Woody Williams, who has a mastery over the Astros, J.D.
He turned 35 last year and probably had the best year of his career. The fly ball pitcher likes to work up in the zone with a heater. Good sharp curve ball, changes speeds and location. A very competitive guy. And of course, everybody knows he's a Houston guy. Went to U of H.
Biggio, the first man to face him. Williams hits the outside edge for strike 1 on Biggio, who has 2 hits and 14 at bats after a .317 spring with 1 homer and 6 runs batted in. Bidge looked good in stealing his first base of the year. No balls, 2 strikes. Woody Williams can pound away at that outside corner on a right-handed hitter, J.D.
Yep. Comes right over the top, and he has the ability to throw darts to the opposite side of the plate.
It's 1-2. He's been very effective here at Astros Field with a 3-1 career record in this ballpark and a 3.45 earned run average. Very respectable here. Lifetime record against the Astros, 4-2 for Woody. That's a line drive to left. That loops in front of Pujols. And he has a leadoff single in the Astros first.
Ball got in on Craig a little bit. Didn't get the fat part of the bat on it, but he got enough of it. And kind of a lethargic break on the ball there by Pujols from left. I think he was fooled by that. I mean, if he breaks right away, he's got a chance to make a play on that ball.
That's what I thought too. Brad Ausmus, after a 406 spring with a homer and 6 runs batted in, already has 1 homer and 4 runs batted in one game this year. A strike 1 to Brad, making his second start. He is 1 for 4. He's been brought along a little slower this season because of a sore right elbow after a .232 year last year with 5 homers, 34 runs batted in. A much better second half for Brad. He has shown big offensive improvement again early this season. It's 0-2, and Woody Williams jumps out in front of him too. He's very good at doing that, although he also can just be a warrior. If he falls behind in the count, he's pretty uncompromising. And in one of his starts against the Astros last year, he threw more than 130 pitches. Slap through the right side. Biggio takes the turn. He'll hold on with J.D. Drew sporting a very good arm. Great hitting on an 0-2 pitch by Ausmus.
So many times you talk about hitters that talk about a 2-strike approach. Just shorten the swing, try to put it in play. It's exactly what Brad does here. Stays on that slider or cutter, moving away from him, and pokes it through the hole on the right side. Nice job of him.
Oh, that was so intelligent. Didn't try to pull the ball, otherwise it might have turned into a double play ball, J.D.
Yeah, you try to pull that slider breaking down in a way like that, you're just going to roll it over.
That sets it up for Jeff Bagwell with 2 on and nobody out. .446 his spring average, 7 homers, 21 runs batted in, and he has not slowed down in the regular season. He's 5 for 10. There's ball 1 to Baggs. Baggs has had good hitting against Woody Williams in the past. He had 39 homers, 130 runs batted in overall last year. He has 4 career homers against Woody with 7 hits and 22 at-bats.
Explains that fastball missing by a foot and a half.
And that one misses too. It's 2 balls, no strikes with Lance Berkman on deck. Woody, a 35-year-old veteran. In his career, he's won 65 and lost 63. Jeff Bagwell in his 12th major league season. It's a good matchup right here for early season fans. Woody misses, and it's 3-0. We're showing good restraint.
It's a perfect example of how important it is to have table setters at the top of your lineup. A couple guys on base. Woody knows if Jeff jacks one, all of a sudden it's a 3-0 game and he's in a deep hole. So pitching somewhat tentatively, and you can understand why, trying to make a perfect pitch regardless of the count.
Ball 4 loads the bases.
The problem in doing that is that there's plenty of firepower hitting behind Jeff.
Tony La Russa, the winningest active major league manager, as his club faces Lance Berkman. 3 homers in 3 games for Lance. There was the most recent one. No, that was Wednesday. Right there with the right-handed swing of Berkman. And yesterday, this is the most recent one. To the back of the bullpen. 3 no-doubters in 3 games for Lance. After a .375 spring with 7 bombs, he drove in 18. He is torrid right now. 6 hits in 13 at-bats. 7 runs batted in with those 3 homers. Little dribbler, Vigna tags Bagwell and throws to first for a double play with Biggio scoring to make it 1-0. Vigna with a quick tag on Bagwell, then doubles up Berkman, who does not get an RBI with Biggio scoring on the double play.
Wow, what a big pitch by Woody Williams. Astros with a chance for a big inning early. Cut her right in on the hands, and rarely does Jeff Bagwell make a mistake on the bases. Oof, and he didn't that time either because Vigna didn't tag him unless he was called out of the baseline. But I don't know. Let's take a look. No, he called him out on the tag. And he missed the tag.
Richard Hidalgo takes a fastball. There's strike one. Huge double play for Woody Williams and the Cardinals. Richard had 246 this spring, went deep twice. He drove in 9. Has 3 RBIs in the young season with 5 hits. 1-1 to Richard with a runner is third, Brad Ausmus, and 2 down now. That double play ball, bases loaded, nobody out, and really help a pitcher clean up an inning. You have to consider it a Woody Williams victory if he can get this man. Bases loaded, nobody out, only 1 run scored.
Oh yeah, facing the cleanup hitter. That's a trade you'll take any time as a pitcher, unless you're tied in the money.
Ball put in the air. Tino Martinez ranges over into foul ground for the play. Great job by Williams, but the Astros break on top. They get a run on 2 hits and leave a man after 1. It's 1-0 Houston.
Welcome back. The Astros have 1. The Cardinals don't have any. Top half of the second inning. Coming up tonight on the Southwest Sports Report, you'll see a wrap-up of today's Davis Cup quarterfinal action from the Westside Tennis Club. Qualifying from the Samsung Radio Shack 500. Fox Sports Net's Camping Around the Big 12 tour looks at the Texas Tech Red Raiders. That's the Southwest Sports Report later tonight here on Fox Sports Net, directly after our ball game, as a matter of fact.
Dave Malicki leads at 1-0. Jim Edmonds has hit in all 3 Cardinal games so far. He gets in to open the second inning with 4 hits and 10 at-bats so far in the young season. Ball 1 to Edmonds. No Mark McGwire on this season's Cardinal club. Edmonds romped through the spring at .362 with 4 homers and 14 runs batted in. He made a comment that he might really think about more of a leadership role on this club, but he deferred to Mark when McGwire was with the Cardinals. Towering fly ball, Biggio out into shallow right. That's out number 1. Edmonds had another fine year last year with 30 homers. In fact, these 2 center fielders, 2 of the best slugging center fielders around, Edmonds and Berkman. Look at this division. Ken Griffey Jr. in center for Cincinnati. It is quite a division with the sluggers out in that center part of the outfield.
Edmonds is the whole package. Power, outstanding defensive center fielder.
Tino Martinez, a newcomer to the National League. Struggled a little bit this spring, as you see. Ball 1 to Tino, one of the solid run producers in Major League Baseball. 4 championship rings with the Yankees. 34 homers, 113 runs batted in, and 22 of them came at Yankee Stadium last year. He hit .280. He's hit in all 3 Cardinal games. Squirts that one foul. 1 ball and 1 strike to the native of Tampa, who grew up with Luis Gonzalez. Constantino Martinez, a first-round pick by Seattle in '88. Yankees got him in a trade after the '95 season. The Cardinals signed him to a 3-year, $21 million deal in December. He's 34. Strike call, and it's 1-2 for Dave Malicki. With Tino joining this Cardinal club, without the right-handed bat of McGwire at first, another left-handed hitter comes in. Strong left-handed hitting lineup with Drew and Edmonds and Martinez. Good breaking ball, strikes out Martinez. First strikeout for Malicki. Now we take a look at our Lowe's improving home improvement players. Malicki did improve as an Astro, going 7-3 with a 5.09 ERA.
change of scenery that really worked out well for Malicki. And Lima actually pitched better in Detroit than he did in Houston last year as well.
Yes, he did.
How roughed up was he? Yesterday, Lima?
Yesterday, yeah. Edgar Renteria, one of the top shortstops around, foul tips it for strike one. He also has hit in all 3 Cardinal games after a 3-14 spring with 3 homers and 11 runs batted in. Renteria 4 for 12 in the early going. This shortstop from Colombia has all the tools, and he's 26 years old. Fouls it back, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. Renteria has batted 6th in some of the early going, with Martinez 7th, but against a right-handed pitcher, it's Martinez in that 6th spot. And Renteria, a guy who in the number 7 hole can drive in runs, although he had 57 last year. Many people think he could do a lot better than that. He had 76 the year before. He can run a little bit. He can really help in that 7th spot in the order. 1 ball and 2 strikes, and he's a good glove man too.
Well, last 3 years, double figures in home runs. Solid play. Seems like he's been around longer. 26 years of age.
A bit of an inconsistent season last year. Taps that one foul. Still a ball and 2 strikes to Renteria. The Cardinals are really strong defensively up the middle, JD.
Matheny, Renteria, and Vigna. The double play combination, and Jimmy Edmonds in center. That's pretty solid.
Yes, it is. 67 degrees tonight. Relative humidity down at 47%. Very pleasant evening.
Barometric pressure is rising.
Your left knee must be acting up.
Talk about pleasant evening up on the roof deck, man. They're jammed up there.
Oh, isn't that great? First bunch of game. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Dave Malicki in his career has won 62 games, and he's lost 70. Last year, he was a .500 pitcher overall with Detroit and Houston. 11 wins, 11 losses. July 21st on, he was 6-3. Line to Ensberg. That's a 1-2-3 second. It's 1-0 Houston. Of our technical director, Damon McGavick. They're having a great time at Astros Field. Darrell Ward comes up empty with strike 1 as the bottom of the 2nd opens, with Ward already delivering a homer and 4 runs batted in after a 305 spring. 4 long balls, 22 runs batted in. So we know Damon is enjoying that shot, and also Murphy Brown celebrating a birthday. Line drive hit into right field by Darrell Ward, and Darrell's into that full zone lately. In the telecast Wednesday night, he had 3 consecutive hits, and he pulled all of them.
He gets the fastball up a little bit, gets on top of it, bangs it through the hole. Ward is locked in, eh?
He is.
Short stroke.
He is hitting the ball very squarely. Leadoff single. That's hit number 3 for the Astros. Morgan Ensberg steps in. .253 for a spring average for Morgan, with 4 homers and 15 runs batted in. He looks at ball 1. He has 2 hits and 6 at bats, and in the game yesterday had a walk and 2 singles his last 3 times up. Those were his numbers at New Orleans last year. Good numbers. 23 homers, 61 runs batted in, especially when considering the fact that he missed several weeks with a broken bone in his hand. Runner goes. The throw is a little high, but they get him. Darrell Ward with a stolen base attempt. Gunned down as Vigna slaps a tag on him. It looked as if he might be able to get in.
Hit and run play. See Darrell looking back in. He's counting on contact from Ensberg. Doesn't get it. Uh-oh. This could be trouble. See Ensberg coming up empty with the swing.
Matheny, one of the top throwers around, gets it out there. Ensberg not able to make contact. Let's spoil that hit and run. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now, a lot of people think, well, why would you put a slow runner in motion. Well, that's exactly why you do it, because if the batter makes contact, it's easier for him to get first to third on a hit by being in motion on the pitch. Two balls and 2 strikes. Morgan has been on a championship team at every level, and he's played at every level in the Astros minor league system. 98 at Auburn, 99 Kissimmee, 2000 Round Rock, and last year New Orleans. He drives this one to left field. It's hanging up, 2 holes over to his right. 2 outs.
You know, Astros Fuller mini plans are the best way to guarantee yourself a seat at all the action and excitement this season here at Astros Field. We've got both 20 and 27 game mini plans, good for people who like the weekend action or a variety of weekday games. Astros ticket services at 1-800-ASTROS-2 or visit astros.com for more information.
Adam Everett works at strike 1 from Woody Williams. Adam has 3 hits and 6 at bats after a 308 spring with 3 runs batted in. Looks to be, to those who have seen a lot of him in the Astros minor leagues, a much improved offensive player this season. He handles this one on a line, 2 holes over. And that's out number 3. No runs a hit, nobody left, and after 2, the Astros lead it 1-0. And leads it 1-0 over St. Louis. Let's take a look now at our standings, brought to you by Jack in the Box. Astros and Cardinals in a dead heat last year, 93 and 69. The Astros won the season series 9-8. They were the champions. The Cardinals the wild card team, and the Cubs were 5 back. All 3 of those clubs look to be pretty well equipped to go after each other again this season. JD,
that would be my guess, Brownie. I would anticipate a 3-team race heading into September. You never know what's going to happen because of injuries and other things. Could be a surprise from the other 3 clubs in the division, but I'd be shocked and surprised.
Mike Matheny gets it started in the 3rd inning. Matheny, after a 3-13 spring with 3 runs batted in, 1 for 3. He's alternating now behind the plate with Mike DeFelice. Here's strike 1. And the Cardinals are going to sort that out and see how they like these 2 catchers. Make up their mind and see who gets the bulk of the playing time there. DeFelice coming back to the Cardinals, and they do have a 3rd catcher in Eli Marrero who can also play other positions, come into pinch run. He's sort of their secret weapon off the bench. Licky misses outside. That evens the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. Matheny, a tremendous thrower, calls a good game, very good reputation with the pitchers. He threw out 45% of the base runners trying to steal last year. His offense dropped off to a .218 batting average.
Good slider.
1-2.
Yeah, you know, if Matheny could hit for a higher average, be a little bit more productive, he obviously would get the lion's share of the catching time because he is so good defensively. And it may come down to he would anyway, even if he doesn't hit that much, because this club has a lot of power, should score a lot of runs, and can afford to carry a guy who's more of a defensive catcher.
Comebacker, Malicki can't get it, and it goes on through into center field. Sharply hit ball by Matheny for the Cardinals' 2nd hit of the night.
Anticipate bunt here, but don't assume it's a lock with Woody Williams in the box because he can swing it.
We'll find out. We'll check our Texas score dealers, league leaders for you. RBI by a pitcher, Woody Williams with 7 last year. Mike Hampton had 16. Woody very accomplished, as you indicated much earlier, with the bat. So the Cardinals do have some options with a 195 hitter last year and 259 in a St. Louis uniform.
He did everything better in a Cardinal uniform.
He really did, didn't he? Has 1 career homer, 22 runs batted in, and a .213 hitter.
See, that's way above average for a pitcher.
Yes, it is.
Al Hrabosky was telling me, now working television for the Cardinals before the game, that Woody was also a real plus in the clubhouse too. Provided a veteran voice, take charge kind of guy.
Ensberg creeping in. Williams bunts it the other way. Fouls it, strike one. Woody, a native of Houston, lives in Fresno, a Houston suburb. Was an all-district shortstop at Cy Fair High School and then played that position as well as pitching at the University of Houston. Began his career with the Toronto Blue Jays, first reaching the big leagues in '93 and moved along to San Diego in '99. Now 35 and really well-rounded with all those abilities he has. He had rotator cuff surgery in '95 and has come back very well. He puts it down. Malicki will field. Go to Biggio covering first base on the sacrifice from 1 to 4. Matheny moves over. Shane Reynolds put down a squeeze bunt yesterday. There was a lot of talk about that after the game. Shane was in the on-deck circle. There was a runner at first base at the time. His manager Jimmy Williams said, with Ensberg on first, now if there are runners at first and third when you come up, be alert for a squeeze. Well, he was thinking way ahead. Sure enough, Morgan Ensberg took second on a pass ball, third on a pass ball, and Adam Everett walked, and then Reynolds bunted the runner home. Fernando Vina tried to bunt in the first inning. Ensberg threw him out. Ball one. Ensberg now has his attention divided between the base runner Matheny and the batter. He's looking a little bit to his left to see what that runner at second is doing before turning his attention to the batter. It's 2 balls, no strikes to Vina. Vina, a very good leadoff man. Doesn't walk a lot, though. 32 walks all season long.
He gets hit by the pitch a lot.
You're right.
And gets plenty of hits, so he still has a pretty good on-base percentage. And again, he's one of those guys that's a solid leadoff hitter. He'd be a great number 2 hitter because he doesn't swing and miss very much. Puts the ball in play all the time.
True. He won his first career Gold Glove at second base last year. He helps the club in many ways. Looks like extra bases up the right field line. Matheny comes home. Hidalgo bare hands. It's an RBI double by Vina. His first RBI of the season, ties the game at 1. Smacked it sharply by Bagwell at first.
Shooting for the outside corner with a fastball, didn't quite get it there. Vina gets the head out, jerks it down the line. Well played by Richard.
He made it close.
Yeah, Vina was running hard all the way, and good thing for him that he was. And he let up at all, and he's out.
Placido Polanco has a runner in scoring position. He flied to right earlier, pretty deep to right field. Ball 1 to Polanco. Cardinals have scored just 4 runs in their previous 2 games. That was against the Colorado Rockies. They beat Mike Hampton in their opener. They're 1-2. They're here for just the 3 games on this road trip, and right back home. They play Milwaukee and Houston. 1 ball, 1 strike to Polanco. I'm talking earlier, the original plan was to play Polanco some at third. He could fill in at second to give Vina a day off. He could play shortstop and get him a lot of at-bats. That's what Tony La Russa had mentioned over the winter, but he changed that in the midst of spring training. You can see why he want Polanco's offensive talents in the game after he hit .307 last year.
Yeah, the story out of the Cardinals camp this spring was that Albert Pujols volunteered to go to left field. Here's a look at this fastball, just teasing the outside corner, but doesn't quite get it. But Pujols volunteered to go to left field because he felt like Polanco was more comfortable in the infield. Yeah, I also heard that Albert was having some difficulties at third base this spring.
That's ball 3, and it's 3 balls and a strike. Good pitching matchups for the weekend. Tomorrow night, it's Carlos Hernandez and Matt Morris. Morris, a 22-game winner a year ago. And Sunday at 1:35, it's Wade Miller and Darryl Kyle, the former Astro. Both those games right here for you on television. Little bouncer to shortstop. Everett comes in. Makes the throw to Bagwell on the run. Polanco retired. Vina moving over on the second out.
Take a look at Adam Everett. Stays down. Flips it over to first. Makes it look easy. It wasn't. The guys who played the position. I was talking to Craig Reynolds in spring training. He said, "Well, watch Everett's feet. Great feet. He always puts himself in position to make the play."
You could see it on that. J.D. Drew singled into center field in the first inning. Bouncer to Bagwell. And the toss to Malicki takes care of the third out. The Cardinals tie it in the third with a run on 2 hits, leaving a runner at third. It's 1-1.
Lineup of racing across the Fox networks, continuing on FX with NASCAR Winston Cup practice, followed by Busch Series racing presented by Old Spice on Fox. Then Sunday, start your day with NASCAR this morning on Fox Sports Net, followed by Winston Cup racing with the Samsung Radio Shack 500 on Fox, and then it's NASCAR Victory Lane on Fox Sports Net. The Fox Networks, your home for NASCAR. Fox Cars, you get it. Look at the screen.
There's been an injury to Woody Williams. He came out to the mound, and immediately the assistant trainer, Brad Henderson, was there. Tony La Russa has made a change in this ballgame. There's pitching coach Dave Duncan. And now the bullpen gates will open, and the Cardinals will get a reliever in this game. A surprise development because we had not seen any indication that Woody was hurting, J.D.
The trainer or somebody was down there kind of patting him on the side. There might be a rib cage muscle kind of thing.
Very deep Cardinal rotation.
Sure we'll get a report.
And now they bring in a right-hander from the bullpen. It's a really deep rotation for them this year. Gene Steckschulte is among those in the bullpen who was helpful last year. They also have a deep bullpen anchored by their closer Jason Isringhausen. And of course Rick Ankiel has continued to have problems. It is out now with what is being termed a sore elbow, and probably will miss at the minimum several weeks for the major league club. In addition, left-hander Bud Smith, who was 6-3 with the Cardinals last year and pitched a no-hitter, failed to make their ball club, and he's at AAA right now, and it was anticipated that he would be in that rotation, J.D.
Andy Bennis claimed the final spot in the Cardinals rotation with a solid spring. Bud Smith goes back to AAA. Here's Gene Steckschulte, a hard-throwing right-hander. Had a pretty good year last year out of the Cardinals bullpen. Appeared in 67 games, 70 innings. 3.86 was his ERA. Here are the spring numbers for Steckschulte. A 1-1 record, a 2.45 ERA in 10 appearances. He worked 14 2/3 innings. The Cardinals carrying 12 pitchers on their staff. And bad news, a tough break for Woody Williams. I'm sure he had a lot of folks here at the ballpark watching him pitch.
Yeah, we had heard something like 70. Let's go to Greg on the field. Greg?
You know, there are a couple of news items that are going to have a piece to do with what happens in this pennant race, and one of them is, as you know, that Mo Alou was put on the disabled list for 15 days today. Still hasn't played for the Cubs, and that can certainly be a factor, as well as the situation with this Cardinal team with a couple of starting pitchers they were counting on during the offseason. Rick Ankiel back down in the minors with a minor injury on his elbow. I don't know how minor it is, but he's out, and Bud Smith is not available. So that's why it's very important, guys, for the Astros to stay healthy and take advantage of it now.
Well, now in inning number 3, Tony La Russa dips into his bullpen and could be very happy he has those 12 pitchers long about now, J.D., because with the Steckschulte being called on in inning number 3, that's a very early assignment for him. He normally would not be asked to pitch probably more than a couple of innings, would he?
I wouldn't think. Maybe 3. Of course, early in the year, the arm is fresh. They might stretch him out a little bit.
Well, last year, Gene dialed it up 67 times for the Cardinals, and he worked 70 innings, so an average of slightly over 1 inning per appearance. He was 1-5 with a 3.86 ERA. Good contributor to their pen. Those are the numbers for the hardworking right-hander. And the thing the Cardinals like so much about what they've done this year and adding the closer, Jason Isringhausen, is that really creates depth for the earlier innings prior to the 9th inning with the likes of Mike Timlin and Dave Beers, who both could close if being asked to. They have Luther Hackman in the pen, and Steckschulte and Mike Matthews and Steve Klein, 2 left-handers. It is a deep, well-stocked pen. There have been rumors that they are shopping one of those relievers to try to lower the payroll of this club, and Walt Jocketty, the general manager, pretty much admitted as such in one of the articles online recently, saying that this is not a good time to dump salary. Most clubs are not looking to take on salary this early in the season, Jim.
Yeah, he was saying he has significant budget problems that he has to work around in St. Louis, and that's why there were all the rumors surrounding Beers and Timlin this spring, because it's a place where the Cardinals have some depth. But right now there just are no takers.
Cardinal bullpen right there. Well, they do have some durable people, don't they? Steve Klein probably would like to pitch in about 100 games this year, and he might be capable of doing that.
He's like an everyday player. Well, there was a trade today, too. Speaking of trades are possible, obviously. Wasn't a lot of money involved, though. The Mets picked up Steve Strickland from the Montreal Expos and sent Bruce Chen to Montreal. A couple minor leaguers were involved as well.
Does that mean Matt Hergis becomes the Montreal closer now?
I don't know for sure, but that's what I would assume, yeah. Because they picked up Hergis from L.A. right at the end of spring training or towards the end of spring training.
Right. It could prove to be a very fortuitous move for the new general manager, Omar Minaya, who is really strapped, many say, with a low payroll, but nonetheless, he's going to play this to the hilt. The team is actually owned by Major League Baseball, but
he's got a huge payroll. He's got MLB's bank at his disposal.
That's a good way to put it.
Especially if you ask Forbes. And remember when he was assigned that job or took that job, everybody wondered, will Minaya be able to make deals? And he's been wheeling and dealing like crazy.
He has demonstrated that he can make deals. Dave Malecki leads it off now. A 116 career hitter with 5 runs batted in. With the injury to Woody Williams, Steckschulte was allowed as many warm-up pitches as he needed to get ready, rather than the usual limit of 8. So now Steckschulte goes after Malecki, then with Biggio on deck and Ausmus to bat third. There's ball 1. Greg talked about the Moises Alou injury. He's been placed on the 15-day disabled list, backdated, I believe, to March 31st, a right calf strain, something that's been recurrent for him the last few years. Ground ball third, blocked by Polanco, and he gets Malecki. And the Cubs, without Alou in left field, lost today in their home opener to the Pirates 2-1.
But Sammy Sosa hit a home run.
He did. He hit number 3, and Dave Williams was the winner, and Mike Williams saved it. That's 1 out for Steckschulte. Craig Biggio led off the home first with a single to left field on an 0-2 pitch. He then advanced to score on a double play ball. Astros all-time leader in many offensive departments, playing in his 15th season. That is a club record. Only Robbie Alomar has more hits in the last 10 years than Biggio's 1,695. Ball 1 to the Astros spark plug. Leading off again for another year. 180 career homers. He's driven in 811, the all-time leader in games played in the franchise history. He drove in 70 last year. That bouncer to Polanco is an easy play. 2 outs. Steckschulte keeping it down, keeping it on the ground. This was a very interesting series last year. The Astros won 9 and the Cardinals won 8. Went down to the final day of the year. And the Astros and Redbirds are meeting 19 times this season, 10 of them right here in this ballpark. They'll be playing next weekend in St. Louis. Brad Ausmus single to right on an 0-2 pitch in the first inning. Goes to Polanco, who makes all 3 plays in the third inning, and after 3, it's 1-1.
Ties a major league record. Top of the 4th, good ball game for you here. 1-1 is our score. Astros and the Redbirds. In honor of their 100th anniversary in Houston, Stewart and Stevenson will give the first 10,000 adults at the ballpark an Astros swivel death clock. That's tomorrow evening at 7:05, and the Astros play the Cardinals. Stop by the Astros Field box office, call 1-877-9-ASTROS, or visit Houston area Sears hardware stores to pick up your tickets. But do it quickly because that's tomorrow night.
Woody Williams left the game with tightness in his left oblique muscle. So it was a side injury, as JD indicated it might be. It's 1-1 as Dave Malicki works to Albert Pujols and starts him with a breaking ball for strike one here in the fourth inning. Pujols bounced into a force play in the first. Prince Albert, they call him around St. Louis. Prince of a fellow who really performed well. Now that sophomore season begins. No balls and 2 strikes. Sophomore jinx has claimed many a player over the years. But perhaps more than that, it's just putting 2 good years back to back for any player at any stage of his career, JD. That's a challenge.
Awfully tough to live up to the numbers that he put up last year.
Adam Everett lays back for the 2-hopper. His throw takes care of out number 1. Adam is a very smooth looking shortstop. And he talked about Craig Reynolds praising him. And Craig was certainly one of the best. Fundamentally, Adam Everett looks to be fundamentally sound, JD.
Yeah, I think so, Barney. I think people are going to enjoy watching him play. And not only that, because one of the cliches with a guy who's fundamentally sound is that, well, he won't get to all the balls, but he'll make the plays that he gets to. Well, Everett's better than that. He's got great range, and he'll make some acrobatic plays.
Jim Edmonds went for a high fastball and popped up to Craig Biggio. First time. Pretty good looking pitch, apparently just missing inside for ball 1.
Little Barry Bonds
did it again, didn't he?
Did it again.
5 home runs already.
10th inning game winner to beat the Padres this afternoon.
Lashed into right field. Edmonds stayed back and whacked it. That's hit number 4 for the Redbirds. Well, Barry Bonds will be coming in here as the Astros' next opponent, the San Francisco Giants, will make a trip in. There's that swing.
Great look at the swing, boy. Hit the head still.
Yes, he did. Well, it's Edmonds tonight, but it'll be Bonds and company as the next home opponent for the Astros, April 19th, 20th, and 21st, the San Francisco Giants. A weekend series. This will be rocking. Tino Martinez the batter. The throw goes over on Edmonds.
Bonds has got 11 RBIs already.
Wow. And that, of course, is the only visit the Giants will be making to this ballpark. Tap foul by Tino.
That's good.
It is?
Yeah.
Just one.
You don't want him back in here trying to hit a 75th home run or something like that. You don't need that distraction.
Well, I guess where the Astros will be the final 3 games of the season.
That's fine. You can have it out there.
Okay. All right. Tino, a 2-time All-Star. Very solid player. He also is a good glove man at first base.
Ooh, come on. It's got to be a strike.
Looked pretty good. 1 ball, 1 strike to Tino.
They were chanting Tino's name in New York today.
Really?
Yeah. Jason Giambi went 0 for 5 and didn't pick a ball in the dirt that was thrown. They started chanting Tino. The honeymoon is over.
That hurts. Good off-speed offering makes it 1-2 to Tino. Of course, there's been speculation he might have a rough time adjusting to the National League after all those years as an American leaguer. Well, we're about to find out, but the Cardinals were happy to get him. They had explored some other thoughts about first baseman, but Tino fit into their budget. And even though he's 34, they feel obviously that he has at least 3 more productive years in him. Giambi was a little rich for the Cardinals' blood. Rolled foul. Evidently, they did talk with him. Of course, he goes back to Oakland days. Tony La Russa goes back to Oakland days. And there's a thought that perhaps some of the Cardinal teammates, would-be teammates of Giambi, could talk him into playing at a reduced rate in St. Louis. Apparently, that was not a prominent thought with him. They seem to have done very well with Mr. Martinez. Two balls and 2 strikes to Tino. 113 runs batted in for him last year, and he's driven in 100 or more now 5 times in the last 6 seasons. certainly knows how to win. And the Cardinals have been there. They are really constantly thorn in the Astros' sides over the last few years. Osmus will play it with the accurate throw to Bagwell to get Martinez 2 outs. And here's our Aflac trivia question for you right now.
All right, check the wording. He's the last St. Louis pitcher with 10+ complete games in a season.
10+. Would that be somebody like John Tudor?
That's the name that jumped
I like
out.
John Tudor.
Yeah, Greg likes him. Man, have we ever? They're showing us
Darryl
Kyle. What does that mean?
Oh, no.
Yeah, is that a clue?
We're not biting. We're not biting.
No, we're not. We're not going with that. Edgar Renteria lined out to third in the second inning.
We're not biting.
No way.
Well, they could have shown us a Bob Gibson baseball card, but that's too far back. 10 for him was a bad year.
Well, the St. Louis Cardinals, with all that tremendous tradition, world champion several times, they have not been to the World Series since '87. Derek Lowe of Boston has a no-hitter going through 7 at Baltimore tonight.
Boy, did we just jinx him.
1 ball, 1 strike.
At Baltimore, 3-0 Bo Sox lead. Boston's batting in the top of the 8th. I knew it wouldn't work out taking him out of the bullpen. That's no hitter.
Well, with Pedro's struggles, Boston really needs him to step up.
He could be
2 balls and a strike.
He could be the reverse Dave Righetti. Righetti, who threw no hitter as a starter, and then following season was moved to the bullpen.
Yeah. Ozzie Smith, the longtime Cardinal shortstop, goes into the Hall of Fame this year as Renteria claims that position. It'll be a special year in St. Louis. We welcome the Wizards. Line drive by Everett into left field. And Ward fails to field it cleanly. The run scores to put the Cardinals in front 2-1. Renteria now with a 4-game hitting streak smacks it by a diving Everett. And Darrell Ward failed to come up with it, so Renteria gets Edmonds home.
Be an E7 to allow the base runner to go to second base. The run, however, will be earned. You can't assume that Darrell was going to throw him out at home plate. It's unlikely that he would have. He never got the chance. Bounding ball.
Ball did come up on Darrell. So Edmonds scores. The error on Ward, his first of the year. And it's 2-1 Cardinals with Matheny batting. That's the Astros' second team error this year. Licky throws, and it's ball 1 to the number 8 hitter, Matheny. Matheny, the former Milwaukee Brewer. Singleton scored in the 3rd on the Vigna double. Cardinals getting some offense out of the number 8 spot. Matheny pretty classy about losing some playing time to Mike DeFelice. Ensberg far to his left in front of Everett makes the play. In the 4th inning, with the Redbirds taking the lead, they get a run on 2 hits with 1 error, and they leave a man. It's 2-1 St. Louis. Well, the big train is sitting idle so far tonight. No Houston home runs. St. Louis leads at 2-1 as we rejoin our Aflac trivia question for you. The last St. Louis pitcher with 10+ complete games in a season, our guess is John Tudor. 14 complete games in 1985.
Yeah, you know, talk about Bob Gibson. He had 5 years in a row with 20 or more, and he did it 7 times with 20 or more. But even that, he's a piker compared to the all-time franchise record. Jack Taylor had 39. Of course, that was in 1904.
Yeah. That's when there's no such thing as a relief pitcher.
1904, that was probably back in the day when they only used 1 baseball, JD. The fans had to throw it back into play, and it was pretty dark by the end of the game.
Yeah, you had to hit it, pick it up and hit it 4 times to get it out of the infield.
And also weighed about 14 pounds, and it was pretty tough for the hitter to pick that up. Jeff Bagwell steps in, bottom of the 4th inning. Yeah, that was back in the day when men were men and women were men. Bagwell walked in the 1st inning. Here's ball 1. Gene Steckschulte had a 1-2-3 3rd inning, and that gives him a shot at perhaps working 3 innings in this game. he's going to be that efficient, perhaps Tony will stay with him. He appeared in 12 games this spring. Worked 2 innings Wednesday night of scoreless ball against the Rockies. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Sinker slider guy. Sinker probably his best pitch. Not overpowering with it, but it's a heavy sinker. It throws in the high 80s, low 90s.
Runs it in on Bagwell, and it's 2-1. The Astros tagged Steckschulte with 2 losses last year in his 7 appearances against Houston. He had an ERA of over 11. Lost the game in Houston when he entered in a 3-3 tie in the 8th, and he lost a big ball game at St. Louis near the end of the year. 3 balls and a strike. Steckschulte from Lima, Ohio, went to Ashland College. He has an oddity as a relief pitcher. He homered in his first major league at bat as a pinch hitter. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
So look at who's done.
They really do.
Woody Williams, Andy Dennis can swing it.
And he can.
If Van Keel were here, Van Keel would probably be the best in the game.
Yes, he probably would. And he did a lot of hitting last year at A-ball at Johnson City when he was sent there to just kind of relax, enjoy the game, and just play ball without worrying about pitching. Deep drive by Bagwell, right center field. Drew way back to the bullpen fence. 370 feet away. It's out number 1.
Bagwell continues to have quality at bats, though. First time up, he draws a walk. This time, he centers it, drives it. Take a look at the swing. It looks like a sinker from Steckschulte. He gives it a pretty good ride. Just dies right in front of the Astros bullpen.
Cardinal bullpen has given up just 2 runs in 12 innings so far this season. Coming into this one, 4 straight outs for Steckschulte. Now his nemesis Lance Berkman, who had a game-winning double off him last year in St. Louis, drives one through the right side. Berkman is now 1 for 2. Double play ball earlier. This time he finds a hole.
So why couldn't I have done that last time?
Well, still, after looking at that replay, Bagwell did avoid the tag by Vigna and did not appear to go out of the baseline on that double play ball back in the first. Richard Hidalgo fouled out to the first sacker, Martinez. Fouled away for strike 1. Richard could be, well, you could say this about every player, but perhaps for several reasons, he could be the key to the Astros offense this season. Why? Because he's hitting behind Berkman. Moises Alou hit behind Berkman last year. Richard drove in 80 runs last year, but had the big year the year before.
Yeah, because to me, Richard's the guy that's kind of the mystery of the big guys in the middle of the lineup. He's the one, and to a certain extent, Darrell Ward. But what are you going to get from Richard? Is he going to be the guy he was a couple years ago? Is he going to be the guy that he was last year, somewhere in between? How much are you going to get? I mean, you're pretty comfortable with Berkman and Bagwell. You get a sense of what you're going to get from those 2 guys.
That's right. 2 balls and a strike. The Astros and Cardinals both had very good records within the division last year. Houston 50 and 34, St. Louis 49 and 35.
Good fastball.
Yes, it was.
Sometimes
2 and 2.
A diamond, sometimes a stone. See, I'm confident, Richard. I drafted him on my rotisserie card.
You are confident then.
I'm expecting big things from him.
That's kind of the ultimate display of confidence, isn't it? Derek Lowe lost his no-hitter. Line drive to left field. Berkman takes the turn, a big turn. Pujols comes up with it. And Hidalgo makes it 2 straight singles for the Astros here in the 4th inning. Richard has looked good at the plate in the early games.
This time it's a slider. He drops down a little bit, and that pitch really flattened out for him. Steckschulte got away with one to a certain extent. He gave up a solid single, but it could have been worse for him. That was not a good pitch. Good swing of the bat by Richard.
The Astros have 5 hits, all singles. Tony Batista had an infield hit in the 8th inning to break up Derek Lowe's no-hitter. Now Dave Duncan, the pitching coach, who's been with Tony La Russa in Oakland. The White Sox, comes out to talk it over with Steckschulte. Steckschulte, you talked about him with the excellent sinker. Would love to get a double play ball right here on D. Ward, KD.
That's his forte, that sinker. perhaps that's what Dave Duncan was out there to tell him. Really concentrate. You make a pitch here. Things look tough for you right now. A couple guys on, a dangerous hitter in the box. But if you make your pitch, you got a chance to get out of this with one pitch.
Vigna diving. He throws to first, and that's a big play. No double play, but they get an important out with Berkman advancing to third and Hidalgo to second on out number 2.
Well, what a great play by Vigna. Last year's Gold Glover. You know he's shading towards the bag a little bit with a double play in order. But because of Ward's propensity to pull the ball, not straight double play depth, and that's why he was able to get to that ball.
Scrappy second sacker, scramble to his feet. Nicely done. Now Morgan Ensberg bats with first base open and 2 outs. That's strike 1. Ensberg had his first major league multi-hit game yesterday. Has a chance right here with 2 men in scoring position to change this 2-1 score. Lays off a slider and the count runs to 1-1. Steckschulte signed as an undrafted free agent in '96. Cardinals have some very durable relievers. Klein, Matthews, Steckschulte, Timlin, Beers. They all work a lot, work well. 1-2.
Reserve card fastball. Looks so good. Not good for them.
Cardinals are beginning a stretch of 16 out of 22 games on the road. Foul at third base. Still a 1-ball, 2-strike count for Morgan Ensberg from Southern Cal. He's been a winner, College World Series, and as we said, at every level in the Astros system, and he's talked about that this spring, how he's always been taught how to win, how to fit in. He's usually batted 4th throughout the minor leagues, but tonight in that number 7 spot, he will probably be in this position in the batting order quite a bit of the time this year. Now it's just a case of driving in these runners. Doesn't matter where he hits. It's an RBI situation. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He talked this spring, though, about the need sometimes to advance a runner, and certainly that's been a big part of his game. But he has been a solid RBI man throughout. Foul back. He stays in there. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, pretty good pitch at a slider right there. He's a little frustration on his face. He thought he should have done more with that pitch, I think.
These 2 teams have played each other here in this ballpark 14 times the last couple of years. It's dead even at 7 each. Steckschulte drops down, gets the strikeout. That's number 1, and he pitches out of trouble thanks to Vigna's excellent play. No runs, a couple of hits, 2 men left after 4, 2-1 Redbirds.
Back top of the 5th, Cardinals lead the Astros 2-1. For those of you tuning in to see the best darn sports show period at this time, it will not be seen tonight due to our game. Tune in weeknights right here at 8 p.m. where it can be seen at its regularly scheduled time.
We just keep preempting, don't we? We're happy to do that.
I'm going to have to continue reading the word regularly.
Yeah.
I'm going to file a grievance.
If you have to read that word
at
regularly.
Normal time. At its normal time.
There you go. Miguel Cairo will pinch hit for Gene Steckschulte, who worked 2 scoreless innings. Cairo leads it off in the 5th inning. Veteran infielder. Licky deals, and it's ball 1. Dave Beers is beginning to loosen in the bullpen as Cairo bats. There's Beers, the former Astro. Cairo hit .224 this spring. 5 runs batted in 26 games. To center field, Berkman backing on it. Almost to the warning track for a long out number 1. Good place to hit a fly ball if you want an out.
A safe haven in this ballpark. A mechanical pump to the end of the Astros bullpen.
Yes, it is.
It's a place to live if you're a pitcher.
Fernando Vina takes a little more time. Veers has just begun warming up. Usually it doesn't take him too long to get loose. Vina doubled in the first Cardinal run in the third. He's 1 for 2. Two outstanding ball clubs meeting here on the first weekend. Really an enjoyable matchup early in the season, and they'll have that series coming up in St. Louis. Divisional schedule really is nice. Strike call. The Astros, for example, will play 90 of their 162 games within the division again this year. They'll play 19 with the Cardinals, 19 with the Cubs, 18 with Milwaukee, 17 with Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. Biggio to his right. Gets Vina. 2 outs. Dave Malicki's last outing came in Kissimmee on Sunday. The Astros were here with a day off, and he stayed in Florida to work against the Class A Michigan club of the Astros. Worked 7 innings of 5-hit shutout ball through 72 pitches. He's thrown just 57 so far tonight. The Astros actually left 3 of their starting pitchers in Florida because they could not get them work here. So Carlos Hernandez, who also got his final outing in Florida, will make his debut tomorrow night against Matt Morris. Placido Polanco is flied to right and grounded to short. He bunts. Ensberg has to hurry. Bare hands, throws. Base hit. Polanco's 1 for 3. Well, you talked earlier about teams testing the Astros' young third sacker.
Of 2 outs, he was playing back. Nice bunt by Polanco. It's a move that a lot of people don't care for. A 2-out bunt. You can do it. You probably got to try to steal a base to get yourself into scoring position.
You think Ensberg is having second thoughts about what the major leagues is like? He said, I never had any idea they bunted this much.
Well, he may be a little surprised by that. We were talking about that the other day. It just doesn't happen all that much anymore in the big leagues.
Between this game and what we saw with the Brewers, we've seen more bunt attempts, or at least hitters showing bunt, than we've seen in a month.
Yes, we have. Jay Dieter is 1 for 2. Ball 1. The Brewers, of course, had Eric Young leading off. They had Alex Sanchez part of the time batting second. 2 speedy guys, so maybe it's just an aberration. The Brewers and the Cardinals with guys who can bunt, who do have speed at the top of the order. Little roller out to short for Everett. The hop comes up to his midsection and he stays with it to get Drew. It's no runs a hit and a man left in the middle of the 5th. Cardinals 2, Astros 1. What's on tap with the Astros, brought to you by Budweiser. Tomorrow night, we hope you'll join us for the Matt Morris-Carlos Hernandez matchup, or Sunday, Darryl Kyle and Wade Miller. All 3 quality games right here on Fox Sports Net. And the Astros take to the road. They'll be playing the Rockies Monday through Wednesday. Roy Oswalt and Denny Nagel Monday afternoon. That'll be the Rockies home opener. Tuesday night, Shane Reynolds and John Thompson, who just beat the St. Louis Cardinals. And Wednesday, it's Dave Malicki and Sean Chacon as the Astros begin a 3-city, 9-game road trip on Monday. Here's former Astro Dave Veers. He's also a former Rocky, 35-year-old right-hander. In the spring was 1-1, J.D.
Fastball, forkball, slider, split finger pitch, forkball, whatever you want to call it. That is his best pitch. His fastball, about average. But the splitter, that's his best weapon when he's on with it, and spotting his fastball is awfully tough customer.
Adam Everett is the first man to face him. Everett flied to left in the 2nd inning. Third baseman in tight. He's ball 1. Gene Steckschulte is in a position to be the winning pitcher because Woody Williams left with an injury after 2 innings. Steckschulte worked 2 innings, giving up 2 hits, no runs, with no walks and 1 strikeout. Polanco at third takes care of the first out for Veers. Dave Malicki will follow. Veers was the closer last year, and he led the club, compiling 15 saves and 18 opportunities. He worked 71 times, also had 3 wins. Dave has 90 career saves. The Astros signed him as a free agent for their AAA Tucson club in '92. He really blossomed with the Astro club in '94, '95. Strike to Malicki. In '95, he had a 2.26 earned run average and led the league in innings pitched by a reliever with 103. Balls and 2 strikes to Dave Malicki. Then he was traded to Montreal on the Sean Berry deal in '95. Dave's 3rd year as a Cardinal. He's pitched more than 70 games in each of the first 2. Roll foul. Still no balls, 2 strikes to Malicki. Dave had 29 saves for St. Louis in 2000. And 15 last year. The Cardinals did not have a 20 save reliever last year or a 20 stolen base man. Up Pino Martinez, Mike Matheny, both over toward the Astros bench. Bounces on top of that dugout. Still no balls, 2 strikes to Dave Malicki. Beers had an ERA of 0 against his former mates, the Astros, last year for 5 games. His career record 1-2 with a 5.58 earned run average. Foul ball by Malicki, staying in there. Had no balls and 2 strikes for Dave. Malicki in his career facing Beers with those numbers against Houston with 6 saves for Dave as well. Malicki is 3-1 here at Astros Field with a 4.19 earned run average. He's the Astros number 4 starter to open the season. Second baseman Vina over to his right. 2 outs.
It's wall calendars from the Decker Food Company to all fans at Sunday's game. Thanks to our good friends at the Decker Food Company. For tickets, swing by the Astros Field box office. Call that number, 1-877-9-ASTROS. Go to Astros.com or stop by Houston area Sears hardware stores. Wall calendars to everybody at the ballpark.
It's going to be a nice weekend to come out, watch some quality baseball, get some of those gifts. Craig Biggio hit .333 last year against St. Louis. 20 homers, 70 runs batted in overall last season for Bidge. He is 1 for 2 in this game. Scored the run in the first inning on a double play ball hit by Lance Berkman. And Ausmus on deck with 2 outs. Biggio rolls one out to Vina. And it's a 1-2-3-5 for Dave Beers. The Cardinals piecing this one together with the bullpen after the injury to Woody Williams. They lead it 2-1 after 5. Houston Astros baseball on Fox Sports Net is being brought to you by Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete. By Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse. Lowe's, improving home improvement. By Nextel. Stay ahead of your competition with Nextel Direct Connect. Nextel, how business gets done. By Subway. Subway, eat fresh. And by Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with low fares. Houston native Woody Williams, a strong team man, had to leave this game with a strained left oblique after 2 innings. But he is back out on that bench to root on his teammates after leaving with the injury, J.D.
Yeah, bad break for Woody. You know, he's excited to, well, obviously your first start of the year, you're pumped up anyway, but to do it in your hometown in front of a bunch of family and friends.
Strike 1 to Albert Pujols. He's 0 for 2 in this game. Pujols had one of the best rookie years ever in the National League. 1 ball, 1 strike. Wally Berger hit 38 homers as a rookie. Pujols 3 short of that, but he drove in 1 run more than Berger did in 1930. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Pujols was the Midwest League MVP year before last. Pops it up foul. And Osmus over, but it's backing out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Cardinals really rely on him as a right-handed power hitter now in this lineup without the threat of Mark McGwire.
Yeah, there's not that many tough left-handers in this division. Right? Kind of gives the Cardinals a little bit of a break because they are so really laden. Their lineup is from the left side. They could be neutralized, you would think, by a really good left-hander.
Little tap. Tough play for Morgan Ensberg. He will not risk a throw. An infield roller, and Ensberg has had to charge in several times in this game, but had to play deep, of course, out of respect for Pujols' power. So Pujols rolls an infield hit to give him a 4-game hitting streak.
Just thinking, man, they even bunt when they swing away. What's the deal?
He had no play whatsoever.
He made the right play. Just hang on to it. Toss it back to the pitcher and say, hang with him, pal. Sorry, Dave. That just drives you nuts when you're the pitcher. You got a big slugger up there. He takes a big hack at him and he gets an 18-foot base hit.
Jim Edmonds reached the outfield with his hit in the 4th inning. Came around to score the go-ahead run. He's 1 for 2. Drives one a long way to right field. Hidalgo back, watching it soar. Edmonds with a 2-run homer. Cardinals lead it 4-1. That's his first of the year.
Of course, the pitcher would much rather have that 18-foot base hit than a second deck home run. Edmonds likes to hit in this ballpark.
367 career hitter against Houston. That's his 9th homer, and as you say, in this ballpark, he has been deadly. It's his 5th homer here at Astros Field, and he was a .412 career hitter here before this game. Verhoeven comes out.
Oh man, showed you his swing in his last at bat. A solid single last time up. This time he gets the backside of that one and gets some elevation on it. Second deck. Big fly.
That's the Cardinals' 2nd home run as a team this season. And now it's 4-1 as Verhoeven visits with T.J. Matthews working in the Astros bullpen, the former Cardinal. Tino Martinez will be next with nobody out here in the 6th inning. Edmonds back in 2000 had an unbelievable year against the Astros. 4 homers, 13 RBIs, and 38 at-bats. Ball 1 to Martinez.
Now that the Cardinals have Jason Isringhausen in their bullpen, 6th and 7th innings become that much more critical when you play the Cardinals because they're going to be tougher to beat late, one would assume.
2 balls, no strikes. Malicki working the 6th inning, has thrown 69 pitches so far. Real economy of pitches. 3 balls and no strikes. The Astros get Matthews ready in case he falters a little bit more here in the 6th. With Osmus, Bagwell, and Berkman due up in the bottom half of the frame. That's ball 4. Tino takes the walk. First of the game for Dave Malicki. Our next tell, you make the call replay, takes you back to what could have been a huge Astro first inning. Lance Berkman, bases loaded, nobody out. Grounds to Vigna, who misses the tag on Bagwell. But he was called out, and then a double play. 1 run scored and only 1 run in that inning. Did he go out of the baseline? Well, not at the point that Vigna was trying to tag him, he didn't.
And that was not the call. The umpire called that the tag was applied. He just didn't see it.
Could be a very big play in this game.
He was screened from it, and he guessed. And in this instance, he just guessed wrong. It's obviously a tough call, and you get twisted out of position. That's going to do it.
Jimmy Williams coming out. That means T.J. Matthews is coming in. The call's gone out to the bullpen. Time for the Southwestern Bell pitching change, and we'll be right back. Matthews comes in at St. Louis 4 and Houston 1. And with a runner at first base and nobody out, he works the 6th inning. Had a rough spring with 2 wins and 1 loss and a high ERA of 9.56. This is his first time out of the chute as an Astro in the regular season.
Yeah, he's got a clean slate to work with now, and obviously did not pitch well in the spring. T.J. Matthews just put that behind us. That doesn't matter. The problem in the spring was he was making some mistakes. He likes to sink the ball and throw a slider, and he was making some mistakes up in the hitting zone with it. A lot of times with a veteran pitcher, what happens is once the regular season starts and the focus becomes a little bit more intense, you're able to make pitches that you don't in the spring.
TJ is from Cardinal country, Belleville, Illinois. Went to UNLV. Son of former Major League outfielder Nelson Matthews, who faces Edgar Renteria. Renteria 1 for 2, an RBI single in the 4th. Matthews deals, and it's low for ball 1. Matthews, is 36th round choice in '92 by St. Louis, was traded to Oakland in the Mark McGwire deal, and then was released by Oakland in the middle of the season last year and signed as a free agent again by the Redbirds. Astros picked him up as a free agent this winter. Double play situation on the infield for Everett and Biggio. Matthews has been a very good worker over his career with 50 appearances or more for 5 consecutive years, 96 through 2000. He had 30 outings last year. Line drive left, Ward over, and he grabs a sinking liner. 1 out.
See, Pujols' ball is a base hit, and that's an out.
There is no justice in this inning. Renteria now is lined out twice, once to third, once to left, but he got that hit last time up that gave the Cardinals the lead. Mike Matheny had scored the first Redbird run after his single in the 3rd. He's 1 for 2. Former battery mates here facing each other. TJ was a 10-game winner in relief in '97. Strike 1 as he hits the outside corner. Made 350 career appearances prior to this one. Has done a very good job on right-handed batters, especially. Last 5 years, when he comes out of the pen, the first batter he faces has an on-base average rather of 326. Fly ball, right center field. Hidalgo and Berkman go for it. Hidalgo reaches it. Good running catch by Richard. 2 outs in the inning. That's a lot of territory in right center in this ballpark.
Boy, he got a nice break and ran right to the spot. Nice catch.
Now with the 4-1 lead, Tony La Russa, with that 12-man pitching staff, will keep Dave Veers in the game. He bats with 2 outs here. Woody Williams left the game after 2 innings with a strained left oblique. Gene Steckschulte worked a couple. And the Cardinals will hope for at least a couple out of Veers. Nobody warming up in their bullpen right now. Broken bat. Tough play. Ensberg off his chest. Scrambles and recovers to get the out. The bat was flying. The ball hit him in the chest, and Ensberg still came up with a play. For the Cardinals, 2 runs, 2 hits, and a runner left in the middle of the 6th. 4-1 St. Louis. Cardinals lead the Astros 4-1, and Jim, normally when the starting pitcher has to depart after 2 innings, it's bad news. Not so far for St. Louis.
Well, if the Cardinals will hang on and win this game, it will be a big win for Tony La Russa, because you're right, when you lose your starter after 2 innings, it's a tough ball game to win. So far, the bullpen has held up for the Redbirds.
And Dave Veers is going to try to help continue that trend. He had a 1-2-3 fifth inning. Gene Steckschulte survived a couple of hits in the fourth inning, and then a good play by Fernando Vina on Darrell Ward helped him out of trouble. He then struck out Morgan Ensberg. The Astros have managed 5 hits, all of them singles. Go back to that first inning, and they had the bases loaded, nobody out. Woody Williams got a double play ball on Lance Berkman. Only 1 run scored out of that frame, even though he cannot be a winner because he didn't go 5 as the starting pitcher. He certainly has contributed if the Cardinals do win this game.
And as we mentioned last inning, with Isringhausen out there in the Cardinal bullpen now, they've become a little bit tougher to beat, although he did have a number of blown saves last year with Oakland. But he is a legitimate closer with a power arm, so you'd like to at least whittle away a little bit at this 3-1 Cardinal cushion.
Dave Beers versus Brad Ausmus. Brad has one of the Astros' 5 singles. That was in the first inning on an 0-2 pitch. He punched it through into right field. In the third, he bounced out to third, going for the first pitch. Polanco plays him even with a bag at third base. Tino Martinez also shortened up at first. Jeff Bagwell's on deck. Strike 1. This number 2 hole in the Astros batting order became quite a cause for discussion this spring. Who would bat second? Darrell Ward hit second a lot of the time in the early game. Brad Ausmus hit second several times. Brad is well equipped to do so. That one goes foul, 0-2. And there's a lot of focus usually when people who have followed baseball for a number of years look at a number 2 hitter. Many of them have this image of a number 2 hitter as somebody who has great bat control, moves the ball around, so if the leadoff man is on base and runs, the number 2 man can avoid hitting into a double play. He can often advance him to third.
You also want a guy who's capable of hitting behind or down in the count, a guy who can take a pitch or two if your leadoff man is trying to steal a base, a guy who's comfortable hitting, say, 0-1 or 1-2. You know, I don't know that that's as much a part of the game now as it was years ago when teams played more small ball. Now that the teams lay back and play for the big inning, it's not as important, but it's still nice to have. When Billy Spires was here, they had an ideal second place hitter, a guy who could hit from behind in the count with confidence, put the ball in play, hit behind runners.
1-2. You might have noticed that Polanco had backed up at third with 2 strikes in the count, taking away the prospect of a bunt. It would be a surprise bunt with 2 strikes. Wouldn't be the first time. Percentages dictate that he play a little deeper with 2 strikes. 2-2. In this case, Brad leading off the inning. So all those attributes are fine. The ability to advance runner, do so with productive outs. But right here, his job is that of a leadoff man to get on base for Jeff Bagwell. Off the end of the bat to center field. Edmonds breaking in, and he makes the play. He hesitated on his way in. That's out number 1.
Feels like he's running a hitch and go. He broke, took a peek, made sure, and then he had time, and then on second gear.
Well, we've seen him make that down, out, down catch several times, that over-the-shoulder play in dead center, and he is one of the best at doing that.
Yeah, I bet you he was a flanker in high school.
He probably was. We'll have to ask him.
Well, if we ask him, we might find out otherwise. So let's just say that he was.
All right. That's a better plan.
Yeah.
We'll make up the story.
Yeah.
Jeff Bagwell in the air to right field. Coming over toward the line, J.D. Drew. 2 outs. Bags 0 for 2 with a walk in this game. Beers trying to make it 6 straight outs, facing Lance Berkman.
You know, one of the things we talk about in the course of a ball game is the starting pitcher having to go through the lineup the second time, the third time, and maybe even the fourth time if he pitches deep enough. But one of the advantages the Cardinals have, even though it's not an advantage to lose your starting pitcher, the Astros aren't getting second looks at any of these pitchers. Each at bat is against a different guy pretty much.
This is guy number 3, Dave Beers. Lance Berkman singled in the 4th inning off Steckschulte. He's 1 for 2. Beers catches the corner. Strike 1.
With confirmation that Edmonds did at least play high school football in the media game. So we got that mixed up.
Beers comes upstairs, and it's no balls and 2 strikes as Dave moves the ball around. Glenn Davis homered in the first 3 Astros games in '88. Chris Truby did it last year. And Berkman has followed suit. Now he's at 0-2 in the count. Game number 4. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Astros have not been blank now for 103 consecutive games. But only 1 run on 5 singles so far in this one. Longest streak in the major leagues without a shutout. The shift is on the infield. Berkman pops it up. Vina back into shallow right. And it's a 1-2-3-6 for Veers, who has 6 straight outs. After 6, the Redbirds lead 4-1. St. Louis 4 and Houston 1. Cardinals have pieced it together with 3 different pitchers with the injury to their starter Woody Williams. He lasted 2 innings. But through it all against Steckschulte and Veers following Williams, the Astros have been limited to 5 singles in this game. And now, with them trying to hold it close here at 4-1 Cardinals, they hope that T.J. Matthews can continue what he started in the 6th inning when he had a 1-2-3 frame. Talked about, Jim, the situation with spring training, but T.J., even though his numbers were not glittering at all this spring, now finds that when the lights go on, when the games count, results are there for him in that 1st inning. He works to Vina now in the 7th. Vina 1 for 3, an RBI double. That's ball 1. That's why I think the standards can be a little different with a veteran player who has produced numbers in the past. Spring training can be discounted more.
Absolutely. As long as the stuff is there when you're analyzing pitches.
Popped up. Bagwell over near the mound. 4 straight outs for Matthews. Relief pitcher's night so far. Dave Malicki in 5 innings plus allowed 8 hits and 4 runs to St. Louis, walking 1 and fanning 1. Polanco with a bunt single in the 5th is 1 for 3. Barry Bonds with his 5th homer lifted the Giants to a 3-1 extra inning win over San Diego in the 10th. Strike 1 to Polanco. Montreal's pounding Cincinnati in the Reds home opener, 8-1. Mets lead at Atlanta 8-3 in the top of the 8th. Matthews misses to even the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. Milwaukee in its home opener beating Arizona 5-1 in the top of the 7th inning. Glendon Rush on the hill for the Brewers.
Ochoa hit another home run.
He has really come out of the gate well this year. Strike call, good movement on that pitch. Polanco looking at home plate umpire Jim Wolf. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Luis Gonzalez also homered in that game, as did Jose Hernandez and Glendon Rush, the Brewers pitcher.
Colorado and Los Angeles have a later start. Sean Chacon against Andy Ashby. Told you about the Pirates beating the Cubs 2-1. Polanco fouls it. And the Phillies beat Florida 6-2 as Brandon Duckworth got the win over Julian Tavares. Jose Mesa got his 2nd save, and Bob Abreu hit his 1st home run.
Duckworth punched out 10.
Wow. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Polanco with J.D. Drew on deck. Yankees shut out Tampa Bay 4-0. A win for Andy Pettitte. Ooh, there's a bad looking swing and a strikeout of Polanco. Completely fooled for out number 2.
Tuesday, Steve Francis and the Houston Rockets travel to South Florida to take on Alonzo Mourning in the Miami Heat. Coverage begins at 6 with Southwest Sports Tonight, hosted by Kevin Eschenfelder. That's Rockets basketball Tuesday night here on Fox Sports Net.
J.D. Drew 1 for 3. Felt his left ankle pop 3 minutes into his first spring workout this year. Thought, oh no, here we go again after all the injuries. There's ball 1 to Drew. Sprained ankle. He worked his way through it. He's been injured in each of his first 3 seasons. He's had a broken hand, strained quad, and back pain last year. 2 balls, no strikes. A key performer for the Cardinals, who was able to play just 101 games last year. He plans to wear a lightweight brace on the left ankle throughout this season, so that sprain does not reach up and bite him again. He is a very good player. He's played center field in the past some. 2 balls, 1 strike. Nice short stroke in the outfield. He's fluid. He gets the balls well. Strong arm. He does a lot of things that coaches love to see. People who teach the game at the lower level would point to a guy like J.D. Drew as far as someone who's technically sound. Fly ball, right center. Berkman backing. And that's a 1-2-3 7 for Matthews, who's retired 6 in a row. We'll stay right here for God Bless America.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise and join us in singing God Bless America.
This sports break is brought to you by Kate Swift. I'm Michelle Bonner at the Fox Network Center. More injuries for Shaquille O'Neal. First it was his big toe. Now the Lakers center is nursing a sprained right wrist. Vice President Dick Cheney threw out the first pitch for the Rangers home opener, while Jason Giambi was booed in the Bronx. And the Cubs opened up Wrigley, but placed Moises Alou on the 15-day DL because of a strained right calf. For all the latest news and scores, stay with Fox Sports Net.
Here at Astros Field, here's the story. It's Cardinals 4, Astros 1. Bottom of the 7th inning coming your way right after we check. Our Gatorade game summary for those of you who may need a little catching up. The Astros got a run in the first, but they had bases loaded, nobody out. And the Cardinals, with Woody Williams having to leave with a left oblique strain after 2 innings, tied the game in the 3rd. They got a run in the 4th, and Jim Edmonds added to that lead with a 2-run homer in the 6th after Pujols reached on an infield roller. Here's Edmonds swinging the bat.
See, if I'm a National League player, I'm going to ask Jim Edmonds where he goes to eat when he comes to Houston.
Oh, yeah?
Because it's working for him, whatever it is.
Strike 1 to Richard Hidalgo. He's 1 for 2. Dave Beers in his 3rd inning of work. Well, the numbers do indicate that what you're saying is very true for Mr. Edmonds. 1 ball, 1 strike. Edmonds now in his career in this ballpark has 23 hits and 54 at bats, better than a .400 average, 5 homers and 12 runs batted in. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, it is a better park for a left-handed hitter. Most players would easily agree with that.
He's the kind of guy you trade for.
You're right.
And what happens is when a guy does so much damage against your club, it's like, my goodness, this guy's the next Babe Ruth.
Hidalgo fouls it. Still alive at a ball and 2 strikes for Dave Beers. It's stirring now. The Cardinals have a lefty getting loose in their pen. Steve Klein. It's an unusual night when Steve Klein is not warming up in the Cardinal bullpen. Darrell Ward on deck, then Morgan Ensberg. 2 balls, 2 strikes. You suppose Klein would come in just to face Ward, even if Beers got Hidalgo out?
No.
That wouldn't be the usual thought with a 4-1 lead.
he might come in to face Ward and keep pitching, but he wouldn't come in just to get Ward out.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Struck him out on high heat. Veers still going strong. He has 7 straight outs.
Coming up tonight on the Southwest Sports Report, you'll see a wrap-up of today's Davis Cup quarterfinal action from the Westside Tennis Club. Hey, that's our buddy Andy Roddick.
He won.
Qualifying from the Samsung Radio Shack 500, Fox Sports Net's Camping Around the Big 12 tour looks at the Texas Tech Red Raiders. That's all coming your way after the ball game on the Southwest Sports Report.
Darrell Ward, who's 1 for 2 with Rob last time up by Vigna. That's ball 1. 27,189 tickets sold for this game. Game tomorrow night should be a very good one.
Nasty fork.
Yes, it was. 1 ball, 1 strike. Carlos Hernandez makes his Astros debut this year against Matt Morris, the 22-game winner from a year ago. He's already won once this season. Morris 22-8 a year ago, and Hernandez 1-0 in 3 major league games. Hope you'll join us if you can't make it out to the ballpark tomorrow night.
Did you have any idea how big a heartthrob this Andy Roddick guy is?
Yeah, I knew about it because I've seen him take his shirt off, and I've seen the girls go wild.
Kids coming to my house just to be in the presence of someone who was in his presence. It's like a Beatle or something.
Wow.
Couldn't believe that I talked to Andy Roddick.
3 balls and a strike. They could not believe you were in the same booth with a guy who serves 140 miles per hour.
Hey, I said, I'm with Brownie all the time. What's the big deal?
Oh, thanks, pal. But you know, they didn't even know that Andy Roddick serves 140 miles.
He serves 140.
Line drive right center field. Drew over to his right. Extra bases for Ward. Drew picks it up off the warning track, and Ward is 2 for 3. That's his 2nd double of the year, and the Astros get their first extra base hit of the night.
And he's a slick defensive play by Fernando Vigna away from being 3 out of 3 tonight. Vigna robbed him in his 2nd at-bat. That's the key play in the ball game. Good swing of the bat here by Ward.
Beers had thrown a tough off-speed pitch earlier in the count. Ward worked the count his way to 3-1, and he mashed it. Boy, has he looked good at the plate in the early games. Morgan Ensberg is 0 for 2. Adam Everett on deck as the Astros trail by 3. Strike 1 from Beers. Andy Roddick is going to be quite a player. He already is, but just imagine the potential that he could fulfill to become an even bigger star. Kick off at 2nd. Ward diving back in as Vigna went to the bag. Can you put yourself in the shoes of somebody who is standing on a grass court trying to return that serve?
No. Here's a look at the pickoff attempt at 2nd base. Darrell Ward getting up, telling Vigna, "Come on, man, I'm not going anywhere." No, I remember getting whacked in the backside by a couple line drives back through the box, and that's probably what would happen to me. I was trying to play tennis with a guy who can hit it 140 miles an hour. Just be turning and taking it off the biggest part of my body.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Morgan Ensberg. The Astros bullpen getting busy. They're at the bottom of the order now, trailing by 3 in the 7th. Beers gets a strikeout, his 2nd. 80-mile-per-hour pitch.
I don't know if that's the forkball or if he's also throwing a straight change. It looks like a straight change. Didn't quite have the action of the forkball, but great hand speed. That's what sells the pitch. Morgan way out in front. That's just a dandy changeup.
Now pinch hitter Jeff Blum, a switch hitter, comes out. Jimmy Williams is covered. If Klein comes in, and that will be the case, La Russa now bouncing out of the dugout, Blum turns around to bat right. This is the value of having switch hitters in pinch hitting roles, JD.
Yep. And especially a guy like Blum, who is pretty good from both sides of the plate and dangerous from both sides of the plate.
Dave Beers goes 2 2/3 tonight. In the bottom of the 7th inning, the Cardinals try to protect a 4-1 lead. We'll be right back. Kyle watching. He'll be pitching in this series on Sunday. It's a 4-1 ball game tonight as he's a spectator. And our Subway sub of the game has just come out right behind Darrell. Dave Veers, 2 2/3 innings of 1 hit so far, shutout ball. Didn't walk anybody, struck out 2. What a job by that Redbird bullpen tonight, JD.
Yeah, so far they have been rock solid. First, Steck Schulte in relief of Woody Williams, who left the game with the strained oblique. And now Veers, Veers gives way to the durable left-hander, and not just durable, but very, very good, Steve Klein. There's the spring training numbers, 13 ball games, 1-0 record, a .120 DERA, he worked 15 innings.
This is already his 3rd appearance in the Cardinals' first 4 games of the season. Klein faces Jeff Blum. Pinch hitting for Everett. Everett was 0 for 2. Blum turns around to bat right-handed with a runner at second and 2 out. Fly ball, center field. Edmonds waiting. 1 pitch for Steve Klein. He continues relievers night for Tony La Russa. And they are not budging through 7 innings. The Cardinals lead 4-1. The Cardinals had to go to the bullpen in the 3rd, but it is holding up. Their relief work preserves a 4-1 lead so far through 7. Let's take you back to the 4th inning in our Pennzoil protection play. It was on Darrell Ward to keep playing this game. 2 men on, 1 out. Ground ball smothered by a diving Fernando Vina. That's the Pennzoil protection play.
Vina's been in the middle of it tonight, hasn't he?
He really has.
Made that play, and then the phantom tag play on the double play cost the Astros a potential big inning.
Jeff Blum stays in to play shortstop after pinch hitting for Adam Everett. That preserves Julio Lugo for use later, should Jimmy Williams so choose. Albert Pujols reached on the infield hit in the 6th and then rode home on the Edmonds homer. He's 1 for 3. Ball 1 for T.J. Matthews, who's retired 6 in a row. One ball, 1 strike. A total of 7 innings worked so far in this game by the relief staffs of both of these clubs. 3 hits and no runs allowed. There's some kind of relief work, especially in this ballpark. Foul ball, and Pujols falls behind. 1 ball and 2 strikes in the count.
You see where Matthews would be tough on right-handers. He's got a little bit of a funky delivery. He actually works under the ball almost like he's pushing it. But this ball, folks, came with a short arm. Probably tough for the right-handed hitters to pick the ball off again.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Pitching depth of both of these clubs is very good. Dave Duncan, the pitching coach of the Cardinals, on the right. Bert Hooton, the Astros pitching coach, on the left. They are well stocked with quality arms, both as starters and relievers this year. Pujols strikes out at a pitch up and in.
T.J. Matthews is inducing some rather funky swings here.
Well, he is, isn't he?
Polanco took a bad hack, and now Pujols. That means the pitch has got good late movement. Sees it in the hitting zone, and then it just keeps boring in on him.
Now Jim Edmonds. Edmonds 2 for 3 tonight. It was the biggest blow in the game. He took the Cardinal lead from 2-1 to 4-1 in the 6th inning. Just misses ball 1. Edmonds back in 2000, first year of this ballpark, reached base in 12 straight plate appearances and had 9 consecutive hits over those 12 appearances in April. On through into right center field for a single, his 3rd straight hit. He is 3 for 4 tonight.
Deja vu all over again, Yogi. That's when I think we were nicknaming him Roy Hobbs at the time.
Yes, you're right.
The natural. He looked like the greatest ball player ever on the planet.
That sweeping uppercut swing. This goes long, high home runs. This time a single, and Tino Martinez follows. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Astros bullpen is getting busy. The pitcher's spot due up first in the bottom of the frame. Jimmy Williams would love it if Matthews could finish out this frame and then pinch hit for him. There's the move to first on Edmonds. Cardinals 2 for 2 as a team in steals in the season. For the Cardinals, who are shooting the works with their bullpen tonight, they have their horse going tomorrow night, Matt Morris. And Carlos Hernandez will face him for the Astros at 7:05 tomorrow evening. Darryl Kyle will be pitching Sunday. Darryl had surgery on his right shoulder after the season last year. This will be his debut, so Morris will actually be pitching twice before Kyle takes the mound. That was the plan all along, to bring Darryl along slower than the other starters on the staff. Seems to be working out perfectly for La Russa, Jim, because with the injury to Williams tonight, he doesn't have to worry about nursing Kyle perhaps on a pitch count tomorrow night. It's Morris instead.
Yeah, Morris, the guy right now on his staff that Tony's probably most comfortable with, assuming he can get a typical night, get him into the late innings.
Strike call. Tino takes strike one.
Morris pitched well in the opener, didn't he? Beat the Rockies.
Yes, he did very well.
Winning that series. He's a guy that people think has a chance to win a Cy Young Award.
122 last year. Certainly it takes a lot of factors to win 22, but he does his part most of the time. He gets the run support. He would be picked by many to do something similar to that again this year. The Cardinals have a good offensive club. They play well defensively, and he is a terrific pitcher. He's a real workhorse and quite a competitor. 1 ball, 1 strike. The guy in T.J. Matthews' shoes will be facing an interesting situation coming into this game tonight. First appearance in a regular season game in this uniform. He had a rough spring. Some other younger pitchers who have not been in the big leagues were sent out to keep Matthews on the club, but the adrenaline seems to be working for him quite well. There goes. Bagwell steps on the bag at first for the second out. Edmonds advancing.
Everything you need to show your team spirit is in the Shed, the official Astros team store located in Union Station, open Monday through Friday 9 to 5, Saturday 9 to 3, closed on Sundays, and of course open during all Astros home games. For information on Astros t-shirts, jerseys, or our women's clothing line, please call the Shed at 1-800-ASTROS-4. It's in that building, and 2 floors below all those people up there on the deck.
T.J. Matthews and Brad Ausmus talk about the situation. Edgar Renteria, the batter. Well, it'll be a double switch apparently. Jimmy Williams out to talk with the home plate umpire Jim Wolf. Julio Lugo comes off the bench heading out for shortstop. Jeff Blum comes in, and Lugo will go into the number 9 spot in the order. He'll be leading off the bottom of the inning while Scott Linebrink is the new pitcher. It's the 8th inning of a 4-1 game with the Cardinals leading it. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. It's the show everyone's been talking about. We just were Emmy nominated the best darn sports show period. Tonight, Colorado Rocky Todd Zeal drops by along with Dan Dickow and Mark Few of Gonzaga. If that isn't enough, pool expert Jeanette Lee, the Black Widow, is in the house. It's the Emmy nominated best darn sports show period tonight at 11 on Fox Sports Net.
Scott Linebrink tries to fall right into line with what the other relievers in this game have done. Nobody is budging tonight. No runs allowed by any of the relievers. T.J. Matthews just worked 2 2/3 innings. He allowed just 1 hit, but that runner at second is his responsibility. Jim Edmonds. Those are the numbers this spring for Scott Linebrink. He worked often. Even Ricky Stone going down to the final day before they found out that not one of them but both had made this club, J.D.
And that was the assumption, that Linebrink or Stone would be gone, but Tim Redding was sent out. Linebrink and Stone both made the club. And they did it because they both pitched well over the spring. There's Julio Lugo, your new shortstop.
Batting 9th, Edgar Renteria takes a strike. Linebrink goes into the number 8 spot in the order with Blum leaving the game. Linebrink has pitched once, and he went 3 innings, allowing 2 hits and 1 run. We've had some relievers who have stretched it out here in the first few days. Now back, and it's no balls and 2 strikes to Edgar Renteria. Linebrink finished up the 9-3 Houston loss to Milwaukee Tuesday night. Ricky Stone had worked earlier. That saved the relief staff for Wednesday's game. No balls and 2 strikes for the native of Austin, Texas. Fun to see these 2 managers square off. La Russa and Williams, 2 long-established, successful major league skippers. Renteria bangs one to left center field. Ward backing on it, and he gets there. 4 to play. A big out in this game to keep it within reach. The Cardinals lead it 4-1. Houston Astros baseball on Fox Sports Net is being brought to you by Budweiser, with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. By your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. By Southwestern Bell. Southwestern Bell, a member of the SBC Global Network. By Pennzoil. Pennzoil, we're driving protection. And by Miller Lite. Life is best told at a place called Miller Time. Here at Astros Field, this crowd enjoying itself on a 67-degree night. And what a beautiful evening it is out there, JD.
It is an absolutely perfect night for baseball in this fair city. Open up the top.
Steve Klein on the mound with a 4-1 lead. He faces Julio Lugo, who entered in the double switch. He's batting in the number 9 position. Julio had a successful start, going 2 for 5 with an RBI. And there's ball 1 to Julio. He started the 2nd game of the season and scored a couple of runs after a 293 spring with 4 runs batted in. Klein hits the strike zone, and it's 1-1. Lugo leading off the inning, so he gives Jimmy Williams some pop and some speed, and Biggio and Ausmus will follow. Good choice for a man to lead off an inning. Klein with a breaking pitch makes it 1-2.
Need traffic. Find a way to get on base, put a little pressure on Steve Klein. Easier said than done. Boy, when he's got that sinker hovering down around the knees, there's not a whole lot you can do with it.
No, there is not. That one's in the dirt. The appeal goes to first base. He checked his swing. Tim McClellan with a call. 2-2 the count. Klein, an 8th-round pick by Cleveland in '93, then was dealt to Montreal in '97. The Cardinals picked him up in a trade along with Dustin Hermanson for Britt Reams and Fernando Tatis prior to last year, and he set a club record for them with 89 appearances. Up the middle, off Klein. Polanco hurries, high throw into the crowd. Lugo to second base. It's a hit and an error on the throw by Polanco.
Well, there's some traffic. And Polanco probably shouldn't try to make that play. It's tough to try to convince a guy that he shouldn't try to make a play. I mean, you're trying to get an out. The Lugo runs well. Let's take a look. Comes busting across. But because of that errant throw, that extra 90 feet obviously takes the double play away from the Cardinals. You know, Greg Lucas made the. Look at Greg Lucas behind the cameraman.
Wow.
I was hiding.
Stand up there and take it like a man.
Try to make a play, Greg.
It's Robin's play. He's in front of me.
Protect. That's expensive equipment there, Greg. You could jump in front.
Yeah, like you could depend on Robin.
Yeah, Robin will surely throw the camera in front of the ball.
Craig Biggio, the batter. He's 1 for 3. It's ball 1.
Yeah, after seeing that replay, there's no way Polanco can know not to try to make the play. Somebody else on the infield has to tell him to eat it.
That's true.
And the pitcher's not going to because the pitcher wants all the plays made. You're pitching, you believe the unbelievable. Anything can happen for you out there.
2-0 to Biggio. Steve Klein has led the National League in appearances in each of the last 3 seasons. Over 80 appearances in each of those 3 years. 2 balls and a strike. He allowed only 3 homers in 75 innings last season. Did not give up an earned run to the Astros in 5 appearances a year ago. What a tough pitch. It's 2-2. Running it down and in on the right-handed batter.
Got to take what Steve Klein gives you. Can't get greedy against this guy. He only allowed 33 home runs in 350 innings in his career.
Osmus on deck. He strikes out Biggio. 1 out. Wicked breaking ball.
Well, the best pitch Craig had to hit in that at bat was the 2-0 fastball. But down 3 runs at this stage in the game, with a 2-0 count, he was taking all the way, just trying to work his way on.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Houston Astros and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Houston Astros. Brad Osmus is 1 for 3. 7 hits for the Astros to 9 for the Redbirds. Ball 1 to Brad with Jeff Bagwell on deck. If Osmus reaches, the potential tying run comes to the plate. Klein had a bit of a rough start in spring training, but he worked 9 consecutive hitless innings in his last 8 appearances. There's the corner, 1-1.
I made that point earlier in the game, Browning, with all the relievers the Cardinals are running out there. And I'm looking at my scorecard, and I don't think we've had a hitter have 2 at-bats against any one pitcher.
I think you're right on that. Yep. You are right.
We could revolutionize this game. We could scrap this whole rotation idea.
All the way, 1 and 2. The Colorado Rockies are trying to do exactly that. They use relievers.
Well, you know, didn't Tony, when he was in Oakland one time, he had some starters hurt and was real banged up, and I think he talked about trying to do that first, you know, just
really
a game or 2. He was going to run a bunch of guys out there for a couple innings each.
You might be right. We'll go back to second on a 1 and 2 count. Klein struck out 54 in 75 innings last year. It's 2-2.
Tough pitch to take. Wow. Also a tough pitch to do anything with. Keyhole.
Fouls it. With a pitch breaking down and in like that, a right-handed batter, it's just so hard to get that part of the bat on the ball and do anything with it, JD.
Yeah, a lot of times, if he makes his pitch, the only way you hit it hard is you hit a hard foul. You could essentially jam yourself against a guy like Klein too with that pitch because you have to respect that sinking fastball down and away.
Now he goes foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You know, if you're anticipating that slider, cutter, curveball, whatever you want to call it, the breaking ball coming in, if you try to cheat and open up and get to it early, and he throws you that sinker down and away for a strike, you're toast.
Looks like Mike Timlin in the bullpen for St. Louis now. a hit. Lugo comes home. Throw from J.D. Drew to the plate is there early, and he is out. J.D. Drew with a tremendous throw. Guns down Lugo at home plate on the single to right by Ausmus. A key play in this game.
Take a look at the play by J.D. Drew. Charges it and comes up firing and throws a strike to home plate. Matheny blocks it. Nowhere to get in for Lugo. What a great play. And nobody more upset in the ballpark than Gene Lamont down at third base. Don't want to get a runner thrown at home. Down 3 runs.
Jeff Bagwell would have been the potential tying run. Now 2 outs in the inning, a runner on, and Tony La Russa appears to be in the process of making a double switch. Eli Marrero is coming off the bench. Timlin has been warming up in the pen. With Bagwell the batter, there's going to be a change on the mound. And Tino Martinez is coming out of the game at the same time as Klein. So Marrero goes into play first. And will bat in the 9th spot, meaning he will bat second in the 9th inning as Timlin makes his way from the bullpen. Here's J.D. Drew really gunning the ball to home plate.
Yeah. 2 things. One, he has a very good throwing arm, very accurate obviously here. And they charge the ball so well. I didn't get a real good look at Julio if he got a good jump or what kind of a turn he had around third base. But you know, it's just eating at Gene Lamont down there at third that he sent Julio in that situation.
Well, now as Matheny warms up Timlin. Timlin, a good sinker ball right-hander, has been a closer at times earlier in his career. Now in that setup role. Jason Isringhausen is the Cardinal closer. So Timlin's job very important here to get it to Isringhausen. And this spring he had an ERA of 0.
Can't do much better than that. 9 2/3, allowed just 6 hits, a couple of walks, and 15 punch-outs. Those are outstanding numbers. The veteran Timlin has always had very good stuff. Hard thrower, big slider, sometimes erratic with his command.
Timlin's worked in 1 game so far, 1 hitless inning. He hit a batter. He's facing Bagwell here with a little working room, but if Bagwell should reach, Lance Berkman is next.
Timlin's 36 years of age, born in Midland, Texas. But we got some veterans out there, some older guys. Beersy's 35, Timlin's 36.
In addition to that 0 ERA this spring, he had 2 walks and 15 strikeouts.
First broke into the big leagues back in 1991 with the Blue Jays. He would have pitched for Jimmy Williams for a while. Yeah. 91 through 96, he was a Blue Jay. Out in 97. Before moving on to Seattle and Baltimore, now St. Louis.
It's Bagwell 0 for 2 with a walk. Marrero, the new first baseman, holding Ausmus. 4-1 lead for the Redbirds. They lost their starting pitcher, Woody Williams, after the 2nd inning with a left oblique injury. Timlin is the 5th pitcher to work. Strike 1 to Bagwell. Timlin consistently over 50 appearances. Done that 7 times in his career. He had 67 last year. 1-0 against the Astros last year in 6 games. Played to the left of Polanco, and the flip to Vigna is out number 3. The out at the plate, a very big one in this game. It's no runs, 2 hits, 1 error, and a man left. Moving to the 9th, 4-1 St. Louis.
Top of the 9th, Cardinals 4, Astros 1. Tomorrow, Big 12 college baseball swings into action when the Oklahoma State Cowboys battle the 18th ranked Baylor Bears. Coverage begins at 2 right here on Fox Sports Net.
4-1 the Cardinals lead. It's Scott Linebrink on the mound, working the 9th inning now. Catcher Mike Matheny leads it off. He's 1 for 3. There's a foul ball, strike one. The Astros have Berkman, Hidalgo, and Ward due up in the bottom of the 9th inning. Jason Isringhausen, the Cardinal closer, getting ready for that as Matheny bats here. Eli Marrero will be batting second. He's in the number 9 spot in the order now at first base. And Fernando Viñas due up third against Linebrink. Liner into right center. It skids back to the left of Hidalgo, who stops and reaches back. Matheny 2 for 4 in this game. He started the rally in the 3rd inning and came around to score the run that tied it after the Astros had a 1-0 lead after 1. Now a pinch runner, Kerry Robinson, comes in for Matheny. Robinson, an outfielder, runs very well. Cardinals trying to push for more offense here as Dave McKay, the first base coach, welcomes Robinson. Runner at first, nobody out. And Eli Marrero, a good offensive player, is the batter. Marrero has not been catching as much in recent years as probably had been projected when he first came to the major leagues. A 219 spring with a homer and 5 runs batted in, getting him up to opening day, and he's gone 2 for 2 in the regular season. 1 for 1 as a pinch hitter. He runs extremely well. Ginsburg in on the grass at third, so the Cardinals use him now at other positions. He can play the outfield, even center field if needed. And of course, in this game at first base, they're using him more as an offensive weapon than as a catcher. Although he certainly is available to catch, he is now the 3rd catcher on the club, and he did ironically catch Bud Smith's no-hitter and some very good games last year as well as that one.
It's nice to have a guy who can play a lot of positions and also catch. Not many clubs have it. And there are some clubs that have a 3rd guy, like an emergency catcher who's not, you can go back there and have a fighting chance, but this guy's a legitimate catcher.
He is so unusual in that regard. Not only is he a catcher, but he can pinch run and do a nice job there. Play those other positions. That's a lot of things wrapped into one package for Marrero, who's Cuban born. Hit 266 last year, 203 at bats. Runner goes, and he'll steal it without a throw from Brad Ausmus, who had a problem receiving that pitch. Kerry Robinson steals the base. The count goes to 2-0.
Here's the break by Robinson. No throw because the pitch was a breaking ball in the dirt.
First steal for Robinson this year in his first attempt. Now Marrero could be bunting here. The Astros bring the corner infielders in. With a runner at second and nobody out, leading by 3. Bagwell in on the grass. Viñas the on-deck hitter. The bunt goes third base side and trickles foul. Ausmus quickly gets to it before it can roll fair. 2 balls, 1 strike. Marrero failing to get it down fair. Well, that gem for Boston tonight wound up as a 2-hitter for Derek Lowe with a save by Uguet Urbina. And a 3-0 win over Baltimore at Baltimore. Josh Howard, the tough luck loser. Johnny Damon and Omar Garciaparra both went deep for the first time this year. Now goes to 3 balls and a strike. Cleveland really boxed Detroit 10-1. Dennis Baez got that win with a leadoff homer from Matt Lawton, his first. Anaheim down Texas 3-1. Scott Schoenweiss with a win over Ishmael Valdez. Now Bert Hooton out to the mound. Troy Gloss homered. Minnesota 4, Toronto 3, a final, and a win for Rick Reed. Eddie Guardado got his 3rd save already.
Everyday Eddie.
Steve Klein type guy, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he's the closer.
David Ortiz and Torrey Hunter both going deep for the Twins. Kansas City leads the White Sox 5-2 in the bottom of the 8th. And it's Seattle 3, Oakland nothing in the last of the 3rd. Dodgers lead Colorado 3-0 in the top of the 3rd. Andy Ashby on the mound for LA. 3 balls, 1 strike to Marrero. Line drive up the right field line, slices fair into the corner. That'll get Kerry Robinson home to make it 5-1, and it's a double. Going out of play, Marrero drives in the run. Well, the first run allowed all night by a reliever comes off the bat of Marrero.
3-1 fastball, shooting for the outside corner. The pitch drifts back over the plate. Marrero, the way he sets up, he's kind of geared to hit it the other way. Got a little double and a souvenir.
Nine scoreless innings by the relievers combined for both clubs until the first run scores. Ball 1 to Vigna. Vigna's 1 for 4, an RBI double in the 3rd. Mets are leading Atlanta. No, they beat Atlanta 9-3. Pedro Estacio winning it over Albi Lopez. 5 minutes. 2-0. Yeah, not only that, but Estacio, who couldn't pitch for the last, month, 6 weeks here, then went to winter ball, had glittering numbers, signed a pretty good deal with the New York Mets as a free agent, and now he gets another win.
It's a bad break, obviously, for the Astros, but it was for him, too. You know he wanted to pitch. It's just ironic that the only time in his whole career, really, that he's been hurt at all was a little bit of time here in Houston.
That's right.
In that game, Piazza and Burnitz went deep for the Mets and Andrew Jones for the Braves.
Little dribbler, line break. Bagwell. 1 out with a runner holding at second.
The Cincinnati Redlegs with a 6-run uprising, still batting in the bottom of the 9th. It's now Montreal 8 and the Reds 7 at Synergy. Aaron Boone has hit a home run.
Graham Lloyd's in the game now, pitching to Todd Walker. 2 outs and 2 men on, and the Reds could pull it out in the bottom of the 9th. Placido Polanco 1 for 4, a bunt single in the 5th inning. It'll be an interesting weekend around baseball with these two teams meeting, with the Mets and Braves meeting. With ball 1, Oakland and Seattle. In the American League, a nice matchup for the first weekend.
Brett Boone went deep for Seattle tonight. Pretty good night for the Boone brothers, huh?
Absolutely. He's going to have to go a long way to match what he did last year, isn't he? That Seattle bullpen still awfully strong in the early going this year, just as last year. Line break catches the corner. 1 ball, 1 strike for Scott.
So if Aaron Boone and Brett Boone were both to make the All-Star team, have brothers ever appeared as opponents in an All-Star game?
Oh, that's a good question.
Better skills than that.
We will have to do some work on that. Spins him around, the pitch up and in. Polanco looking back at the home plate umpire, Jim Wolf. 2 balls and a strike.
Now we have to think of the usual candidates when you ask a brothers question. Alous, Perry's, Necros.
My guess is that there have been brothers.
Alomars.
On different sides of the All-Star game.
Wainers.
Yeah. Going strong.
Yeah, I'm just going to sit here and recite every brother that ever played in the game.
3 balls and a strike. All these rivalries are building more now with this divisional play. It'll be fun to see that Braves and Mets series throughout the season. They meet so many times. 3-2 to count now with the Mets retool ball club looking much better on paper, at least offensively, but also with a lot of strikeouts potentially in that lineup.
It'll be an interesting club to watch.
They will not be dull.
They'll score from they really struggled last year. Their outfield was very unproductive in 2001.
Yes, it was. Fly ball, Hidalgo's way, shallow right. 2 outs. Cardinals leading it by 4. With J.D. Drew coming up. Isringhausen was warming up before they got this additional run. He continues to throw in the pen. Billy Wagner came in to close out the ball game for the Astros. 6-3 yesterday over Milwaukee. But when he came in, it was 6-2, a non-save situation. Here's the intentional walk to Drew. That'll set it up for last year's Rookie of the Year, Albert Pujols, to bat with 2 men on and 2 outs. So Isringhausen will be coming in a non-save situation as well. But if you're Tony La Russa, after you have expended your bullpen beginning in the 3rd inning, don't mind using your closer to go ahead and make sure you nail this one down.
Absolutely. You've invested a lot to try to win this ball game. There's been quality work from your bullpen. You don't blink. You don't think twice about using your closer in this game.
Tony La Russa said when the Astros hired Jimmy Williams to be their manager, it was sort of a, see if I can think of the exact remark. Well, now it escapes me, JD. It'll come to me, but it was a complimentary remark, but not delivered so much as a compliment over the winter. And showed his respect for his opponent there at Cross. Pujols is 1 for 4. I think he said, "I hate to see that."
Yeah,
something like that.
There's a lot of respect for Jimmy Williams' managerial skills.
Pujols singled and scored his hit, an infield hit back in the 6th inning. And break missing, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. You talk about using a bullpen in a game like this. Only the 4th game of the year could be quite different than a game in July when a club has played 10 or 11 consecutive days and those relievers are tired. 2 balls, 1 strike. Sometimes the manager is just looking to get the relievers work in these early games with days off coming up in April. The Astros will go on a trip after the Sunday game, and they'll have 2 off days on that 11-day, 9-game trip. At the end of the bat, 2 balls, 2 strikes, and that is if they're able to play all the scheduled games. You wonder sometimes when you go to Colorado or even St. Louis or Cincinnati this early in the season if that will be the case.
It snowed in Detroit today.
Did it really? From what we're hearing, the early indication is that the weather might be warmer than usual when we get to Colorado. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Edmonds on deck. Hugo down on a knee, and Biggio catches it for out number 3. The Cardinals pick up another run here in the 9th inning, a run on 2 hits. They leave 2. They lead it 5-1. Five to 1 ball game. The Cardinals are trying to nail it down here as Houston will come up in the bottom of the 9th inning. We'll look ahead briefly to tomorrow night. We're on the air with this matchup. Matt Morris and Carlos Hernandez. Morris, a 22-game winner last year against a talented young lefty from Venezuela who was 1-0 as a major leaguer before getting hurt. Left shoulder is fine now, and he will make his 0-2 debut tomorrow night at 7:05 against Matt Morris. That's game 2 of the series. Right here in game 1, Jason Isringhausen, the closer, comes out of the Cardinal bullpen, and they make other changes as well. Kerry Robinson staying in after pinch running for catcher Mike Matheny to play left field. And Mike DeFelice is the new catcher, batting in the number 6 spot in the order. And the new pitcher, Isringhausen, is in that number 4 spot with Pujols leaving the game. In spring training, Jason Isringhausen was 1-0. His ERA 0.75 and had 4 saves. Not a save situation here. He allowed just 6 hits and 1 run in 12 innings, walking 2 and fanning 11. 4-run lead as Lance Berkman becomes the first Astro to face Isringhausen. Lance 1 for 3 in this game. Mike Timlin worked 1/3 of an inning. There's strike 1.
95-mile-an-hour fastball with a little movement, kind of a little Mariano Rivera-like the way that ball was cutting in on Berkman. 34 saves last year for the Oakland A's for Isringhausen. He did fail in 9 save opportunities.
Berkman to center field. Edmonds in. That's out number 1. Gene Steckschulte is in line to get the victory because the starter Woody Williams failed to go 5 innings. Left with an injury. Steckschulte worked a couple of scoreless frames. He has had a lot of company. Woody Williams still on that bench alongside Dave Beers, who worked 2 2/3, giving up 1 hit and no run. So he's played a big part in this win as well.
I'll give him the win.
All right. Well, it should be evenly distributed, shouldn't it? Richard Hidalgo is 1 for 3.
That happened in the game last year with the Astros, right? The starting pitcher didn't qualify, and the guy came in behind him, was in position to get the win, had pitched well, but the official scorer deemed that the guy who came in following that pitched better, and he was awarded the win.
That's right.
In his right. It's a little unorthodox scoring.
Yes, it is. Isringhausen. 9 blown saves for Oakland last year. There's a lot of focus on that. 0-2. But it's been since revealed, and this was confirmed by Art Howe, his manager last year, that Isringhausen was tipping his pitches. They decided to have him avoid that elongated windup because the way he was turning his glove was indicating to the opponents what pitch he was throwing. So now he just starts from that position and avoids tipping. Glove stays right in that one position. 1 ball and 2 strikes, and after that, really in the second half, he pitched well. He wound up with 34 saves and a 2.65 ERA.
So far, he's been tipping his pitches too. He's reaching back and throwing at 95 miles an hour every time.
Yeah, I'll try to hit that.
Oh, there's a yacker.
Strike 3 call.
After all those fastballs, awfully tough to adjust and hit that curveball, especially when it's as high as it is. The hitter sees a breaking ball, sees any ball this high, he's going to give up on it. Pitch is the one that used to not be called a strike, but more and more you see it called.
5-1 ball game, and Darrell Ward has 2 of the Astros' 8 hits. The Cardinals with 11 hits. And he knocks this first one in their belts. Ball 1 as Isringhausen tries to become the pitcher who finishes it after the relief parade began in the 3rd inning. He is pitcher number 6 of the night for the Redbirds. 2-0, and if he gets this man, Darrell Ward, it'll be 7 innings of shutout ball for those pitchers. 5 hits allowed so far by the relievers in their 7 innings, and no walks. That is an awesome relief night. 3 balls, no strikes. Montreal did hold off Cincinnati 8-7 despite a Reds 6-run bottom of the 9th. Masato Yoshi won it, and Graham Lloyd got the save. 3-1 to Darrell Ward. Isringhausen grew up in Cardinal country. He's from Brighton, Illinois, and there was pressure applied to him by his family to come back home when he was a free agent this winter. Strike call makes it 3-2. Jason, as the closer, one of the big additions the Cardinals made, and the other one through free agency, Tino Martinez. That's why many people have picked this team to win the division based on their moves over the winter and the team they already had. Ward fouls it back, but others are really recognizing the talent the Astros have, especially on the mound. And some of the folks around the Cardinals said tonight, the club may be undervalued here in Houston. There's a lot of respect mutually for these 2 clubs. They have really had some good battles over the years. A strikeout for Isringhausen caps a sensational night for the Cardinal bullpen. 7 innings of 5 hits, shutout baseball, and the Cardinals take the first of the 19 meetings between these two. Final score: Cardinals 5 and the Astros 1. Our next Fox Sports Net game with the Astros is tomorrow night. It's game 2 of this weekend series, and it's Matt Morris against Carlos Hernandez. Once again, our final score tonight, 5-1. The Cardinals beat Houston, but we have more for you now from the studio. John Radigan and Randy McIlvoy waiting in our Fox Sports Net studio.